Chapter 214. Sima Yue was in her room. She took out the sound stone that Sima Lai had given her back then and inserted her spirit chi into it. The lines on the stone moved and Sima Lai's voice appeared once again. The content of the book, every word, every sentence, she already knew it by heart, but she would still take it out from time to listen to Sima Lai's loving and helpless voice. After meeting by Yunqi, they had stayed in the West Moon Kingdom for more than a month. Now, there were only a little more than 3 months left before the 3-year deadline. She wondered if her grandfather and brothers had been doing well these past 3 years. "Grandpa, I'm about to save you. Wait for me." She clenched the sound stone in her hand and muttered. The next day, Sima Yue and the rest went to the Soul Master Guild early in the morning. When the people from the Soul Master Guild saw them, they quickly welcomed them in. "We're going to the Central Wu country," Wei Ziqi said to the manager who had come to receive them. "We're ready." The steward said, "Yesterday, the president gave the order that the lords would be using the teleportation array today, so we haven't opened it to the public yet." Did this mean that he was going to cover them? "Where does this teleportation portal lead to?" Sima Yue asked. "In Linchuan City, the capital of Central Wu country." The steward replied. "Do you know which city the Sima family is in?" "It's an Anyang city in the east. There's a teleportation array in Linchuan City that leads there." "Not in the imperial capital." "Yes." As they spoke, they arrived at the place where the teleportation array was placed. Because the teleportation distance was relatively far, the teleportation array was relatively large, covering almost half of the courtyard. Sima Yue looked at the teleportation portal. After confirming that there was no problem, she led them into it. The manager had more than 10 spirit masters inject spirit chi into the teleportation array at the same time. The teleportation array lit up, and the spirit masters stopped inputting spirit chi into it when all the lines were lit up. It was Sima Yue's first time seeing such a huge array being activated. However, when she thought about the range of the teleportation, she felt that it was normal. "Not again." Sima Yue complained in her heart. Then, the familiar dizziness engulfed her consciousness once again. No matter how many times she had used the teleportation array, she still couldn't get used to the dizziness. She had asked Feng Zhixing why she felt uncomfortable when everyone else was normal. At that time, Feng Zhixing's answer was that the teleportation arrays on this continent were too crude. She, who was very sensitive to space, would naturally feel uncomfortable. At that time, she had wailed in her heart. Being talented was also a sin. 2 days later, they finally arrived at Linchuan City, the imperial capital of Central Wu country. No one expected the teleportation array to take so long. If they used flying beasts, it would take at least 3 to 5 months. Moreover, Little Rock was an extremely fast flying beast. If it was an ordinary bird, it would probably take almost a year. The teleportation array between countries was rarely activated. The teleportation array between Linchuan City and West Moon Kingdom had not lit up for a long time. Seeing that the teleportation array was connected, the people from the Spirit Master Guild looked over to see who it was. When he realized that it was just a few young people, he went back to doing his own thing. Sima Yue stayed in the teleportation array for 2 days. When she came out of the teleportation array, she vomited until she fainted. "Damn it. Next time I'll definitely make my own teleportation array and bring it with me." Sima Yue was completely defeated by the teleportation array after she almost vomited her gallbladder. Because of her body, they did not continue on their journey. Instead, they chose to stay in an inn in Linchuan City. Sima Yue laid on the bed. She still felt that the world was spinning. "I've heard of people getting carsick, seasick, and airsick, but I've never seen someone like me getting sick from teleportation arrays." She reached out her hand to grab the air, then put it down weakly. "Yue, we just asked around. It's not very far from here to Anyang City. Let's take a flying beast next time." Bei Gongtang was taking care of Sima Yue in the house. Seeing her like this, she said with heartache. Sima Yue looked at Bei Gongtang weakly, saying, "Forget it. The earlier we go there, the better. It'll be better to prepare. Furthermore, if they had to spend 1 or 2 months on the journey, it would not be worth it. Then rest well. Fatty and the others are quite curious about Linchuan City. We planned to go and take a look together. After she finished speaking, she stood up and took the towel on Sima Yuyue's head. She took the wooden basin and left, leaving Sima Yuyue alone in the house. Bang dash. The sound of the door closing shocked Sima Yuyue so much that she closed her eyes. When she opened them again, she wailed in her heart, "This group of heartless people. They left me here alone and ran out to play by themselves. They're too disgusting. I can't take it anymore. I'm still dizzy. I need to sleep for a while. Chongming, call me when they come back." Chongming, who had been leaning on the window without making a sound, looked at the person on the bed. He then shifted his gaze to the street outside and watched the people coming and going. This guy was usually lively and fearless. Who would have thought that he would be troubled by a teleportation array? Sima Yue slept until evening. When she woke up, she felt much better. At least the world was no longer spinning. However, she still felt a little stuffy and uncomfortable. "My back hurts from sleeping so much. Chongming, why haven't they come back yet?" She groped her way out of bed and realized that Chongming was nowhere to be found. She opened the door and went out. She heard the sound of teeth gritting and shouting coming from downstairs. She stood by the railing and looked down. She saw Fatty Chu being supported by a few people with a bruised nose and swollen face. Little Two followed behind, one of his eyes looking like a panda. "Hey, you guys went out for a day and ended up like this." Sima Yue laughed and said, "Could it be that you guys didn't go out to shop, but to rob a house? Fatty, what's with these bruises?" Fatty Chu glared at Sima Yue resentfully. This guy clearly saw that he was beaten up, yet he was still gloating. Everyone went upstairs. Sima Yue looked at them with a bright smile. "I told you guys to go and play by yourselves, but you guys got beaten up." She waved at Little Two and said, "Little Two, come here." Little Two went around Fatty Chu and the rest and came to Sima Yuyue's side. Sima Yue stretched out her hand and touched his panda eye, saying, "Come, tell Big Brother, who hit you?" "A bad guy." Little Two said angrily, "Not only did that person have designs on Big Sister and me, he also beat Big Brother Fatty up to this extent." "Oh, what happened?" Sima Yue asked. "When Big Sister and I were walking on the streets, we met some young master. He said that he had taken a liking to Big Sister and wanted to catch Big Sister. Another old man said that he had taken a liking to me and wanted to catch me. Big Brother Ouyang and Big Brother Ziqi weren't around, so Big Brother Fatty went up to fight with them. In the end, he got beaten up to this extent. I didn't expect that old man to be a spirit paragon expert. If Big Brother Chongming hadn't come, we wouldn't have been able to come back today." Sima Yue crossed her arms in front of her chest and raised her eyebrows. Had he taken a liking to her beauty and little Shota? Chapter 215. No wonder she didn't see Chongming at the inn when she woke up. It turned out that he had gone to save the damsel in distress. "Do you know who they are?" she asked. "I know." Little Two said. "The other party said that they were from the Nailin clan. I heard from the onlookers that it was some first-rate force." "Nailin family?" Sima Yue was surprised to hear this name again. Dongchun Country's Nailin clan had quite a grudge with her. Since the Sima family was exiled there, then the Nailin family also had their own family. However, he didn't expect to meet them as soon as he arrived. Did Chongming kill them all? Sima Yue was curious. Little Two shook his head and said, "Brother Chongming said that he only saves people and doesn't casually kill people. He made those two leave." "Sigh, what a pity." Sima Yue sighed. However, Big Brother Chongming did not let others know that he was a sacred beast. Little Two added. Sima Yue patted his shoulder and said, "Go and eat 2 pills to get rid of your panda eyes. You don't look cute at all. As for Fatty, you can find your own pills to eat. Little Two, let's go in." After she finished speaking, she led Little Two into the house and gave him 2 pills to eat. After a while, Bei Gong Tang also came over. "The Nailin clan. If you're not a family, you won't enter the same house. As expected, you're all from the same clan. The way you do things is so similar." Bei Gong Tang did not have a good impression of the people from the Nailin clan. She almost ground her teeth to pieces. It's very annoying. Sima Yue felt disgusted when she heard that the other party wanted to snatch a beauty in broad daylight and the old man's perverted hobbies. However, It's not good for us to find trouble with them now. We'll deal with them after we understand the situation here. Bei Gong Tang nodded, but the anger in her heart could not be quelled. On the morning of the second day, Sima Yue dragged Bei Gong Tang out to the streets. First, they asked about the Nailan clan. When the other party saw that they knew nothing about the Nailan clan, they looked at them as if they were barbarians. However, they still told them what they knew. As expected, the Nailan family was one of the top powers in the Yilan continent. Their base was not in the imperial capital, but in the northwest of Lin City, which was the opposite direction of the Sima family. Since they were able to join the four great clans, their strength was definitely not to be underestimated. However, knowing that this wasn't the Nailan clan's base, Sima Yue relaxed a little and pulled Bei Gong Tang to walk around the streets. It would be fine if she didn't meet those people, but if she did, she would reluctantly get rid of them in the name of eliminating them. "Oh, isn't this the beauty from yesterday?" A wretched voice was heard. Bei Gong Tang turned around to look. Indeed, it was the wretched man from yesterday. Beside him was a wretched old man. Both of them were dressed in luxurious clothes. It was obvious that they were not ordinary goods. Sima Yue glanced at them and said, "Were they the ones who harassed you yesterday?" Bei Gong Tang nodded. "Where's the little doll from yesterday? This lord really likes him." The wretched old man looked left and right, but did not see little Tu's shadow, so he directly asked. Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang's hearts sank. This old man who refused to die actually had designs on little Tu. Seeing that Sima Yue was about to explode in anger, Bei Gong Tang pulled her back and said to the two people from the Nailan clan, "My brother is nearby. Don't follow us." After she finished speaking, she pulled Sima Yue into the crowd. Seeing that Sima Yue and the others had left, the wretched man was a little anxious. "Don't be anxious. Let me sense it for a while." The wretched old man closed his eyes and sensed for a while, saying, "That brother of theirs is not nearby at all. Then should we chase after them?" The wretched man said anxiously, "If they did not go now, they might not be able to catch up. Don't panic. They won't be able to escape." The wretched elder said as he slowly walked in the direction that Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang had left. Seeing this, the wretched man hurriedly followed. Bei Gong Tang pulled Sima Yue and walked out of the city. It looked as if they were running away from something. This made the two people behind them even more certain that there were only two of them. "Elder, if we catch that girl, we will naturally know the whereabouts of the child molester yesterday." The wretched man said this to the wretched old man, hoping that he would help him catch Bei Gong Tang. "Don't worry, I will naturally catch them. It's been a long time since I met a child molester that moved my heart," the wretched old man said. In front, Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang heard the two people's words, and their eyes were filled with killing intent. These two people actually called little Tu a child molester and even wanted to catch them back. They were really despicable. When the two people from a Nailan clan saw them walking out of the city, they thought to themselves, could it be that they lived outside the city? However, if they went to a desolate place, it would be convenient for them to take action. At that time, nobody would know that they were the ones who did it. When they were about 10 li away from the city, Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang stopped and turned around to look at them. "Why are you following us?" Bei Gong Tang looked at the two of them with disgust. "Beauty, when I saw you yesterday, I couldn't help but fall head over heels for you. I want to invite you to my residence as a guest to improve our relationship," the wretched man said shamelessly. Sima Yue stood in front and blocked Bei Gong Tang, saying, "Humph, where did this lunatic come from? Is my wife someone you can invite just because you want to?" Hearing her say wife, the wretched man was very unhappy, saying, "How can a man like you be worthy of such a beautiful girl? Today I will kill you first and set the beauty free." "Aren't you just trying to snatch my wife? You still have to make it sound so dignified." Sima Yue looked coldly at the wretched man, as if she was looking at a corpse. If he wanted to kill her, she didn't even know who would be the one doing the killing. She activated the spiritual energy in her body, and the surrounding spiritual energy fluctuated. The other party immediately sensed her strength. "Haha, you're only a second-level spirit grandmaster. Today, I'll send you to hell." As he spoke, the wretched man also activated the spiritual energy in his body and displayed the strength of a fourth-level spirit grandmaster. Sima Yue didn't think much of him. When she was still a first-level spirit grandmaster, she was already able to kill Qin Wu. Although this man's level was about the same as Qin Wu's, compared to Qin Wu who lived on the edge of a knife, he was obviously a good-looking but useless piece of trash. Elder, don't do anything. Let me kill this person. After speaking, he attacked Sima Yue. Sima Yue snorted coldly and fought with him. It didn't take long for the victor to be decided. After a few rounds, the other party was killed. The wretched old man didn't think much of Sima Yue because she was 2 levels lower than the wretched man. But he didn't think that she would be so strong in battle. She defeated the wretched man so quickly and killed him so quickly. By the time he reacted, she had already killed the wretched man. Chapter 216. How dare you kill a member of my Nalan family? The wretched old man's eyes flashed with malice. His murderous intent surged towards Sima Yue along with his aura. He was waiting to see her being suppressed by his aura. However, Sima Yue stood where she was, completely unaffected. You're actually not afraid of high-level coercion? This surprised him, but he didn't think too much about it. He just thought that she must have some treasure that could resist the pressure. No matter what treasure you have, I will kill you today and avenge my Nalan clan. A junior of the Nalan family was killed in front of him. If this matter were to spread out, it would be a colossal joke. The only way was to kill the 2 of them here, so that this matter would never spread. Sima Yue ignored the murderous intent in his eyes and said, Is the Nalan family that great? How come I've never heard of it? I don't think it's a good family that raised 2 scum like you. It's fine if I don't know. Arrogant brat. Let's see if you can still be so arrogant after I kill you here. As he spoke, the wretched old man circulated his spiritual chi to show his level. A first-level spiritual venerable? Sima Yue looked at the old man and sneered. You only managed to become a spiritual venerable at your age. I don't think your talent is that good. Did you burn a lot of spirit herbs to grow up? Sima Yue's words angered the vulgar old man so much that he almost vomited blood. He said, I originally wanted to give you a quick death, but now I've changed my mind. I want to slowly torture you to death. Am I someone you can torture as you please? Sima Yue looked at the wretched old man and said, You want to kill me, but I want to kill you too. You actually dared to have evil thoughts about my family's little two and even wanted to capture him. Now you even want to kill us. It seems that we have no choice but to take your life today. Ha! The wretched old man laughed heartily as if he had heard a joke. Laughing, he looked at Sima Yue and said, A mere spiritual grandmaster like you wants to kill me? Who said I was going to do it myself? Sima Yue looked at him as if he was an idiot and said, 1,000 resonance. I'll leave this old fart to you. Just kill him. The wretched old man wanted to laugh at her for boasting shamelessly, but before he could say anything, he saw a fox appear beside Sima Yue. Divine beast. The vulgar old man's eyes narrowed as he looked at 1,000 resonance's level and said, A 5th-level spirit beast. His strength has barely reached the level of a spirit paragon. I'm about to advance to level 2. This guy can't kill me. Is that so? Sima Yue smiled disapprovingly and said, Don't be so arrogant. The tail behind 1,000 resonance slowly turned from 1 to 7, and it looked like a fan behind him. 7-tailed spirit fox. This time, the wretched old man could not remain calm. This was actually a 7-tailed spirit fox, a rare spirit beast. Sima Yue looked at the change in his expression with satisfaction and said, That's right. 1,000 resonance has the blood of the ancient 9-tailed spirit fox. His battle strength is stronger than those of the same level. He's comparable to a level 6 spirit beast. If he wants to kill you, it'll be easy. After speaking, she said to 1,000 resonance, Hurry up. They're still waiting for us to return. Yes, master. 1,000 resonance pounced towards the wretched old man. Sima Yue and Bei Gongtang hurriedly retreated to a distance of 1 li away from them. It was better for them to watch a battle between spirit paragons from afar. Just as Sima Yue said, Thousand Resonance had an absolute advantage over the wretched old man. Very quickly, he beat the other party to his last breath. Sima Yue and Bei Gongtang saw that the battle was over and flew over. She came to the wretched old man's side and kicked him fiercely, saying, "How was it? I said that I'll kill the two of you today, so I'll kill you. You want to steal my woman and brother? You better open your eyes in your next life. Not just anyone dares to touch them. Do you understand?" The wretched old man did not say anything. Sima Yue squatted down and took a few interspatial rings from the wretched old man's hands, saying, "Since you're going to die anyway, take these things as a way to help us get over our shock." Puff! Dash! The old man, who was still hanging on to his last breath, was angered to the point of vomiting blood by Sima Yue's bandit-like actions. He died. She threw a flame at the wretched old man's body and burned his corpse. Bei Gongtang threw a flame at the wretched old man's body. Before that, she did not forget to take his interspatial ring. The two people who wanted to take advantage of them were killed by them, just like that. Now that the two of them were dead, their connection to the interspatial ring was also cut off. Now, it was an ownerless ring. Sima Yue and Bei Gongtang each sent their consciousness into the ring to check what was inside. Damn, this old man has so much wealth. Sima Yue could not help but cry out when she saw the treasures inside. This little one, too. Bei Gongtang said, looking at them, "They must have done many bad things. But I never thought that we would benefit from it." Sima Yue's mouth was laughing so hard that it almost reached her ears. Bei Gongtang looked at Sima Yue's appearance and could not help but shake her head. This guy was actually very hooligan. Just now, he had called her his wife so naturally. Wasn't this also teasing her? Now, this bandit role was played by her incisively and vividly. What were hooligans and bandits? It's getting late. Let's go back. Otherwise, they will be worried. Bei Gongtang resisted the urge to roll her eyes and pass the wretched man's ring to her. Okay. Sima Yue kept the rings and thanked Thousand Resonance for his hard work. She kept it in the spirit pagoda and then said to Bei Gongtang, "Let's go." When they returned to the inn, Wei Ziqi and the others were not as worried as she thought. A few of them were drinking tea in the main hall of the inn. Only Little Two saw them return and waved at them with a smile. How was it? Fatty Chu bore a grudge against the people who beat him up. He originally wanted to go with them today, but Sima Yue said that he was a hindrance and let him stay in the inn. Looking at the two of them, you can tell that they must have succeeded, Wei Ziqi said with a smile. Sima Yue and Bei Gongtang sat down and drank the tea that Fatty Chu poured for them, saying, "We took action, of course there was no problem, and we even handed in a lot of spoils of war." What spoils of war? Little Two looked at Sima Yue with his eyes wide open. Sima Yue did not say anything and only glanced at Little Tuesday. He immediately understood and said, "Oh, I know. Elder sister and elder brother snatched other people's interspatial rings again." "What do you mean snatched? I picked it up, okay?" Sima Yue looked at Little Two disapprovingly, saying, "It's only snatching if it has an owner. I picked it up without an owner. Do you understand? It's only snatching if it has an owner. It's only picking up if it has no owner." Little Two nodded his head fiercely, understanding this truth to the bone. So many years later, when he snatched other people's elixirs and faced other people's accusations, he calmly said, "It's only snatching if it has an owner. It's only picking up if it has no owner. Do you understand?" After he finished speaking, he swaggered off, angering everyone so much that they almost vomited blood. Chapter 217. Sima Yue and the others stayed in Linchuan City for another night to deal with the Nalan clan. They were preparing to go to Anyang City the next day. At this time, in and not far from the one they were staying at, the Nalan clan members were all pulling long faces. They were frighteningly gloomy. The elder and younger cousin were killed. The person sitting in the middle looked at the guard kneeling on the ground, his voice frighteningly cold. This person was handsome, but his malicious eyes made him look sinister and ruthless. One look, and you could tell he wasn't a good person. However, the people around him all stood respectfully to the side, like stars surrounding the moon, showing his status in the Nalan clan. Young Master, the elder, and the others didn't come back after they went out, so we went out to look for them. We saw the clan token 10 miles away from the city. After some investigation, we confirmed that there was a battle between spirit paragons during the day. The guard replied, "Did you find out who did it?" Naelan asked. "No one saw it at the time, so we didn't find out. However, we will definitely find out by daybreak." The guard replied, "No matter who it is, if they dare to kill my Naelan clan members, we will catch them even if they run to the ends of the earth." Naelan ordered, "Yes, young master." Everyone in the room replied in unison. The guard retreated, preparing to continue investigating the elder's murderer. As he left the room, Naelan's voice faintly sounded, "If you can't find the culprit by daybreak, you will all go back to receive your punishment." The guard's body trembled. He was very afraid of being punished. However, he still said yes and obediently left. Inside the room, an elder sat at the same table as Naelan. It was obvious that his status wasn't low. This person was Naelan's master, Naelan Hong. He was also an elder of the Naelan clan. "Master, who do you think killed the 15th elder and the others?" Naelan asked. Naelan Hong thought for a moment and said, "Someone who dares to kill my Naelan clan's elders. If their status isn't the same as ours, then they don't know the strength of our Naelan clan." Naelan laughed coldly and said, "Who on this continent doesn't know the strength of our Naelan clan? I think the first possibility is more likely. It's possible that it was done by one of our enemies." Naelan Hong did not deny it, saying, "The possibility is not small. After all, the grand banquet was about to arrive, and the various factions were already restless. Let's wait for the results of their investigation." "Yes," Naelan responded, then asked again, "Master, what do you think of this event? There are less than 2 years left until the Grand Assembly, so the number of middle-aged people should be about the same as before. However, there are quite a few rising stars among the younger generation. However, their talents cannot compare to yours. You just have to pay attention to the Sima family's Sima Yulin, the Sang family's Sang Qiong Li, and the Hua family's Hua Ziyan. The others are not your match. Those few people have been known as the 4 great freaks with me all these years, but I've never fought with them before. I'm actually looking forward to this gathering." Naelan sneered. This gathering is related to the ranking of the various powers. The battles between the younger generation are also an important part of it. You can't be careless. Otherwise, your father won't have a good time. Naelan Hong said. "I know." Naelan said, "I won't disappoint father and the clan elders." "It's good that you know." Naelan Hong had always been very satisfied with his young master's disciple. He knew his character, so he was not very worried. "However, Master, will the broken blood grass that we picked be of any use to that girl?" Naelan thought of the purpose of coming out this time and asked with uncertainty. "With the broken blood grass, we can unlock that girl's physique. Once the sacred lotus physique awakens, her future achievements will be immeasurable." Naelan Hong said, "Is the lotus physique really that good?" Naelan asked. "Of course. Otherwise, why will we bring her back from the land of exile?" Naelan Hong said, "The cultivation speed of the lotus physique is many times faster than the average person. Especially after breaking through to that level, the advantage of her physique will be even more obvious. Right now, that girl is not even 25 years old and has not reached the deadline for awakening her physique. Otherwise, it will be difficult for her to awaken it." Naelan naturally knew how important it was for the clan to have someone with a physique to awaken her physique. Otherwise, they would not have come out to look for medicine to awaken her physique. "Master, the level you're talking about, you don't need to know that yet. Just focus on cultivating." Naelan Hong did not reply. "Yes, Master. Go and rest. When they send the news back, we will go and take care of that group of people and rush back to the clan. You should also go into seclusion to prepare for the gathering." Sima Yue, 6 adults, and 1 child slept very late that night because they were counting the spoils of war today. Chongming originally did not want to participate, but he was pulled over by Sima Yue. Now, she was no longer afraid of him. Sometimes, she would even put her arms around his shoulders. "I never thought that these 2 fellows would have so many treasures." In Dongchun Kingdom, These treasures are almost equivalent to the treasures of a middle-class family. Either the Nailing clan's resources are extremely rich, or they have done a lot of robbing and robbing. This was the unanimous conclusion of everyone. Sima Yue distributed the items according to everyone's needs. Then, she urged everyone to leave. She wanted to conserve energy for tomorrow's hardships. Thinking about how she fainted from the teleportation array, everyone laughed silently. However, they all left. On the second day, Sima Yue and the others woke up early. After bringing Little Two to eat breakfast, they walked towards the Spirit Master Guild. Linchuan City was the capital of the Central Wu Kingdom. There were a few teleportation arrays that led to the outside world. They went to the north, south, east, and west. There were many cities in the east, so there were more people going there. Even though it was so early, there was a long queue for the teleportation array in the east. Let's wait for a while. They queued at the back of the queue and watched the queue slowly move forward. Sima Yue pulled Little Two to the back. Bei Gong Tang was in front of them. Wow, what a cute little brother. A few more people queued at the back. When they saw Little Two, they could not help but exclaim. Sima Yue turned around to look at the people behind her. She realized that there were two old people with a few young people. Looking at them, they seemed to be together. The one who spoke was a young lady. Seeing Sima Yue turn around, the lady smiled at her, saying, "Is this your little brother? He's so cute." Sima Yue saw that the other party's smile was kind and smiled back, saying, "Thank you for the compliment. Are you going to the east as well? Which city are you going to?" The lady asked. Sima Yue saw that this lady looked to be around 17 or 18 years old. Her face had some baby fat. When she smiled, her dimples appeared. Her eyes were clear. It seemed that she was a simple person. She nodded lightly, saying, "Yes, we're going to Anyang City." "Really? We're going to Anyang City too. Looks like we're going the same way." The lady said, "I'm called Sima Yuqing. What about you?" Hearing the other party's name, Sima Yue's heart skipped a beat. She had met the Sima family before going there. Chapter 218. Hearing Sima Yuqing's words, Wei Ziqi and the others who were in front turned their heads and looked at the two of them. If Sima Lin wanted to protect Sima Lai, he would have to reveal the matter of the 3-year promise. Sima Yue's name was probably no longer a secret within the Sima family. If people were to know of her existence now, she wondered if it would cause problems for home. Sima Yue said, "You can call me Shimin Yu." Sima Yuqing blinked, saying, "Shimin, this surname is rare." A man came up from behind and said, "Yuqing, you like children. Don't scare her." "Yuyang, I'm so cute. How could I scare a child?" Sima Yuqing glared at Sima Yuyang unhappily, saying in a bad mood, "It's not like I've never seen you scare a child to tears." Sima Yuyang said, then looked at Sima Yu and asked with a smile, "Judging from your accent, you're not from Anyang City, right? What are you going to Anyang City for?" "Let's go look for him," Sima Yue replied. This Sima Yuyang was over 20 years old, but because the body of a cultivator aged slower than the average person, he looked to be around 20 years old. His smile was very sunny, like a big boy. "Oh, you're looking for—" Just then, a loud roar interrupted their conversation. Who were Shimin Yu and Bei Gong Tang? Sima Yue and the rest looked over and saw a group of people walking toward them aggressively. They glanced at each other and guessed that the Nailing family's people had come looking for them. After coming to Central Wu Country, Sima Yue changed her name to Shimin Yu. She didn't expect that in just one night, the other party would find them. However, they did not intend to admit it. Since the other party did not immediately come to their door, it meant that no one from the Nailing family saw them kill anyone. Seeing the people from the Nailing clan walking over, the people in the queue at the Spirit Master Guild all moved to the side, afraid that they would meet them. Only Yue, her friends, and the Sima family remained where they were. Heavens, it's actually the young master of the Nailing family. Nailing Jie is here. Looks like something big is going to happen today. Shoo, lower your voice. If they hear you, be careful of your life. Nailing Jie and Nailing Hong walked in front of the guards and stood in the courtyard, sizing up the people in the courtyard. When he saw the members of the Sima family, he subconsciously narrowed his eyes. Who is Shimin Yu and Bei Gong Tang? The person who came shouted again. Sima Yu knew who they were from the discussions around them. She stepped forward and said, I am Sima Yu Wei. You are Shimin Yu? The guard beside Nailan Jie looked at Sima Yu Wei suspiciously. How could such a person kill an elder of the Nailan family? That's right. What's the matter? Sima Yu Wei felt uncomfortable when she saw Nailan Jie's sinister gaze. She didn't look happy either. You killed our Nailan family's people, and you still dare to ask us, what's the matter? Why aren't you committing suicide to atone for your sins? The other party was unhappy with Sima Yu Wei's attitude and shouted, Are you an idiot? Sima Yu Wei looked at that person with disdain. I don't even know who you are. What did you kill your Nailan family's people? You still won't admit it? Someone saw them follow you out of the city. Oh, you're talking about the two wretched men who wanted to capture my wife and brother. Sima Yu Wei wasn't scared at all by the other party and said, What does it mean if they followed us out of the city? They wanted to capture my wife, so they might have been killed by someone after they followed us out of the city. They didn't have any grudges with others. How could they be killed by others? With our strength, we can't kill them. Sima Yu Wei said, What are you doing outside the city? Nailan Jie asked, What else can we do? We're looking for friends. Sima Yu Wei casually made up a story. Don't talk about looking for them. They were in the inn the whole day yesterday. Nailan Jie stared at Sima Yu Wei. The other party didn't give her time to reply and continued to ask, You just arrived in Central Wu Kingdom and don't know anyone. Who are you looking for? Do I need to report to you who I'm looking for? Sima Yu Wei retorted. No need. But if you can't say it, it means that you intentionally went outside the city to kill my Nailan family's people. Who said she doesn't know anyone? Yesterday, Yu and the others went out to look for us. Sima Yu Qing, who had been watching the show from the side, suddenly said, Who are you? Nailan Jie turned his gaze to the Sima family and saw a man standing quietly behind the crowd, saying, Sima Yulin? Sima Yulin hadn't said a word since he came in and was standing behind the Sima family. Sima Yu Wei and the others didn't notice him. Even Nailan Jie didn't notice his presence when he came in. Sima Yu Wei looked at Sima Yulin. This guy knew how to restrain his aura and reduce his presence. It was as if he was one with his surroundings. His ability to restrain his aura is comparable to ours. She secretly compared it to him in her heart. Sima Yulin took 2 steps forward, saying, Nailan Jie, I didn't think that I would meet you here. Nailan Jie looked at Sima Yulin with surprise. He felt the fluctuations of the latter's spirit energy and was shocked. You know them? Sima Yulin glanced at Sima Yu Wei and said lightly, I know them. They left the city yesterday. To look for you? Nailan Jie continued to ask. Little sister and the others did leave the city yesterday. Sima Yulin replied in a roundabout way. Since they're your friends, you should hand them over. On what basis? You say that they killed your family's people. Do you have proof? If you don't slander us. Yu Qing already said that they left the city to look for her. How would they have the time to kill your people? Sima Yuyang didn't like Nailan Jie and looked at him sideways. You want to protect them? Nailan Jie ignored Sima Yuyang and asked Sima Yulin. This isn't protecting them. Do you have proof that they killed your people? Sima Yulin retorted. Nailan Jie's eyes darkened. Although they knew that Sima Yu Wei had killed his people, they didn't have proof. Why are you looking at my brother like that? Do you want to fight with him? Sima Yuyang said, It just so happens that my brother wants to fight with you too. Isn't that right, brother? Sima Yulin glanced at Sima Yuyang and didn't deny it. Then, he looked at Nailan Jie with a burning gaze. He really wanted to fight with Nailan Jie. They were both called evildoers, but they had never fought with each other before. He really wanted to know who was more powerful between them. Nailan Jie wanted to fight with him as well. Just as he was about to take a step forward, a hand landed on his shoulder. Young master, we still have things to do. Let's go back first. Nailan Hong looked at the Sima family. His voice wasn't loud, but Nailan Jie couldn't resist. Count yourselves lucky. It's best that you don't leave the protection of the Sima family. Otherwise, be careful of your dog lives. After speaking, he led the Nailan family to the teleportation array towards the west. Before he left, he glared at them with murderous intent, causing everyone present to shudder with fear. Chapter 219. The Nalan clan's people left just like that? Everyone was in disbelief. In the past, they would rather kill 1,000 innocents than let one person go. Today, they had already suspected Sima Yue and the others, but they did not make a move. However, when they saw the members of the Sima family, everyone felt relieved. These two families had always been at odds with each other. Just now, it was obvious that the Sima family wanted to protect these people. Even if the Nalan family wanted to take action, it would be inconvenient. The meeting is about to start. Nalan Jie doesn't want to go up against Sima Yulin first, so he wants to reveal his strength in advance. Someone analyzed, and didn't they say that unless these people always follow the Sima family, they will always be hunted by the Nalan family? Sima Yue and the rest did not expect the other party to leave just like that. Regardless of whether it was temporary or not, she still said gratefully, "Thank you for helping us out." Sima Yulin didn't say anything and retracted his aura, causing people to unconsciously ignore him. Sima Yu Yang stepped forward and held on to Sima Yu Yu's shoulder, saying, "This is nothing. We have always been at odds with the Nalan clan. It doesn't matter if there's more or less trouble." Bei Gong Tang stepped forward and pulled Sima Yu Yu over, escaping from Sima Yu Yang's evil clutches, saying, "Thank you, everyone." Wei Ziqi and the others also came up and gave their thanks. "Shimin, who in their family did you kill?" Sima Yu Qing beamed as she asked. Sima Yue glanced at them and whispered, "A wretched man and a wretched elder." Wretched elder? Could it be their 15th elder? Sima Yu Yang said in shock. "Is it a short, ugly, fat old man who likes to molest children?" Sima Yue nodded. "Damn, you guys actually killed their elders. They're going to come knocking on our door." Sima Yu Yang almost jumped up. His eyes widened as he looked at Sima Yu Yu and the others. Even Sima Yulin glanced at them, but quickly shifted his gaze away. "I really admire you. You killed the Nalan family's elder just like that. He wanted to steal my wife and brother, so I naturally had to fight back. However, I'm not that powerful. I had to rely on some tricks." Sima Yue said, "No matter what method we use, it'll be good if we can kill him." Sima Yu Qing said, "That old bastard, no, he's already dead. He's a huge scourge in the Central Wu Kingdom. Because he has a bit of power, and because he's a member of the Nalan clan, very few people dare to touch him. I heard that he's caught over 100 male molesters. Now that he's been killed by you, it's a good thing that he's gotten rid of evil." These people were chatting happily with the younger generation of the Sima family. If they knew that these people were the ones who were going to cause trouble soon, who knew what kind of expression they would have? "Weren't you guys in the East? Why have you come to the imperial capital?" Wei Ziqi asked. "We came out to gather herbs, and conveniently came to the Spirit Beast mountain range to gain experience." Sima Yu Qing replied, "Picking herbs? That's right. Someone in my family was injured and hasn't recovered for a long time. Originally, a strange fruit would have been able to cure him, but someone said that he would bring it to us after 3 years. Now that the 3 years are almost up, we don't know whether or not he will come. Many uncles have said that it's impossible for that person to come, but my great uncle has said that we have to wait. He wants us to prepare for both eventualities." Sima Yu Qing had a good impression of the few of them, and blabbered on about the news that they wanted. "Then that person made the 3 years agreement with you. Did he not have any conditions?" Wei Ziqi asked. "He did. He wanted us to guarantee the lives of a great uncle and a few older and younger brothers. However, those people have done something wrong before. To protect them, it took a lot of effort from great uncle. If those people don't come, we'll be letting great uncle down." Sima Yu Qing said. Hearing that Sima Lai and the others were safe, Sima Yue heaved a huge sigh of relief. At least the other party had kept their promise. As they chatted, it was their turn very quickly. Because they were going to a place, and the teleportation array was big enough, they let them go together. In the Spirit Master Guild of Anyang City, Sima Yue felt a little uncomfortable. Seeing her like this, the youths of the Sima family came over to ask about her. "Shimin, are you okay?" Sima Yue supported herself against the wall and waved to everyone. "What's wrong with her?" Sima Yu-yang asked. "She's fine. She just fainted from the teleportation array," Fatty Chu said. Fainted from the teleportation array? This was the first time they had heard of this. "Where are the people you want to find?" Sima Yu-ching asked. "We don't know yet. We have to look for them," Wei Ziqi replied. "But we have to rest for 2 days before making any plans. Why don't you come to my house?" Sima Yu-ching invited them warmly. "No need. We can just find an inn," Wei Ziqi said. "We're used to staying in the mountains. If we go to your house, we'll be disturbed." "All right. Then which inn do you want to go to? We have inns in our house too. Let's find a place nearby to stay. Her condition isn't very good. Take her to rest early. Goodbye." The few of them left without saying much to the Sima family. Sima Yulin watched their backs as they left and felt a little strange. However, he couldn't pinpoint what was wrong with them. "Let's go. We'll go back too." Wei Ziqi and the others came outside and found an inn that looked pretty good to stay in. After that, a certain someone began to rest while the others went out to wander around. They called it scouting for information, leaving a certain someone to lie on the bed alone and draw circles. When night fell, they came back with the information they had gathered. The Sima family is worthy of being a first-rate power in the Yilin continent. This residence is almost the size of a small city. It occupies a large area of Anyang City. The people of Anyang City treat the Sima clan as if they are gods. I heard that the Sima family has a lot of experts. The younger generation is even more outstanding. However, some people say that the Sima family might be reduced to a second-rate power. The Sima family seems to be divided internally. Sima Yu looked at the few of them, and her eyes were filled with resentment. "You could have waited for me to find out. Aren't we considering that you're anxious to know the situation?" Fatty Chu said. "Then have you found out anything about grandfather and the others?" Sima Yu asked. We haven't." Everyone shook their heads. "We did ask a few people about the people that the Sima family brought back 3 years ago, but those people didn't say anything after hearing it. Looks like they're avoiding this and don't dare to talk about it." Sima Yu said, "There are still 2 months before the 3-year agreement. During this period of time, I have to seize the time to cultivate and see if I can increase my strength." Thinking about how she was in the same city as Sima Lai and the others, Sima Yu was excited. "Grandfather, brother, I'm coming." 2 days ago, when we went out, we saw her beast carriage in front of the Sima family's gate. The guard called her Miss Yulan. Sima Yu also had an impression of this girl who was about the same age as her. Crossing the Sophia mountain range was a dangerous task. At that time, other than Sima Kai, who was a spiritual grandmaster, she was a spiritual king, and the other 3 were spiritual emperors. They were willing to take her there, but it was definitely not for her to catch people or broaden her horizons. Thinking back to when Sima Lin had listened to her and said that she couldn't sense the exact location of the golden snake fruit, he gave up looking for it. Could it be that she could sense the location of the heavenly treasure? Since Yu has come out of seclusion, let's go find a restaurant to celebrate, Fatty Chu suggested. "Sure," Wei Ziqi said. "We've all advanced in rank recently. It's indeed something worth celebrating. The Drunken Moon restaurant nearby has pretty good food and wine. Let's go there to eat." Fatty Chu had already eaten at all the restaurants nearby, so he naturally knew which restaurant was better. "All right, let's call Chongming along. We'll go together," Sima Yu said. Chongming left 2 days ago. He said that he would be gone for a few days. "He'll definitely be back in 10 days, Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yu was stunned. She didn't think that Chongming would leave. She didn't know what he had to do. "Then we'll go by ourselves," she said. "Today is the day that Yu will advance in rank. We definitely have to let her bleed properly." Fatty Chu was in high spirits. "All right, I'll treat you guys to a big meal today," Sima Yu said with a smile. "All right, Big Brother will treat us to a big meal today." Little Two shouted happily. The few of them then left the inn. Because it was still early, they strolled leisurely towards the restaurant and strolled around the streets. When they passed by a small street, they realized that there were quite a few people walking towards it. "This alley is quite lively," Sima Yu said. Of course, at the end of this street, is the Xian Yuan Pavilion. Fatty Chu said. Ugly person's Xian Yuan Pavilion? Yes. The signboards are all the same. Fatty Chu said. It's still early and they haven't opened yet. We can go take a look after we finish eating. All right, let's see what's the difference between these peace cities. In the afternoon, they arrived at the Drunken Moon restaurant. Although the people who cultivated here didn't have much desire for things, the Drunken Moon restaurant was still packed with people. Why are there so many people? Sima Yue asked as she looked at the restaurant full of diners. Because the food here is delicious, Fatty Chu said as he walked in. A waiter came up to him. Waiter, are there any more private rooms? Oh dear, I'm sorry. Our private rooms are all full. The waiter said apologetically. There are no more private rooms? That's right, the private rooms have all been booked. There are only 1 or 2 empty tables left in the main hall. The waiter said as he pointed to the 2 tables at the side. The previous 2 times, we came at night. I didn't think that there would be so many people in the afternoon. If I knew earlier, I would have walked faster. Fatty Chu said. The main hall then. Sima Yue said, since we're already here, let's just put up with it. In any case, it's just a meal. All right, guests, this way please. The waiter waved to everyone. Since there are no more private rooms, why don't you join us? Sima Yu Yang's voice came from the door. Sima Yue and the others looked back and saw Sima Yu Yang, Sima Yu Qing, and 4 or 5 other people walking in together. Big brother Yu Yang, big sister Yu Qing. Little Tu saw Sima Yu Yang and smiled as he greeted them. You're here for meal too? Sima Yue saw Little Tu's appearance and felt that he was much closer to the 2 of them. It seemed like they had met a few times already. That's right. We have a few friends who came and invited them here for a meal. Sima Yu Yang said, we didn't see little brother Shimin the previous 2 times. They said that you were in closed-door cultivation. I just came out today. Sima Yue said. Since there are no more private rooms, you can join us for a meal. Brother Z, Yin wouldn't mind, right? Sima Yu Yang said. Z Yin held a fan in his hand, saying, since they're your friends, there's naturally no problem. Sima Yue didn't want to get too close to the Sima family and wanted to decline, but Fatty Chu had already agreed on her behalf. Thank you so much, Yi Yang. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows and directly called him by his name. When did their relationship become so good? Chapter 221. Since Fatty Chu had already agreed, Sima Yue didn't say anything else and followed them upstairs. The waiter brought them to a private room. The private room was very big and could seat at least 20 people. Sit. Sima Yang gestured for everyone to sit down, then introduced them to each other. This is Hua Ziyin from the Hua clan, and this is his younger sister, Hua Zijiao. These 2 are my younger cousins, Sima Yu Zhe and Sima Yu Yi. These people were Shimin Yu, Wei Zi Qi, Ouyang Fei, Fatty, Beigong Tang, and this little doll was Tuesday. Where's Brother Chongming? He has something to do and will be away for a few days. Sima Yue nodded at them and replied. Hua Ziyin replied indifferently, while the others ignored her. Hua Zijiao pouted unhappily, saying, Big brother Yu Yang, why did you invite just anyone? This makes the private room look small. When he said this, the atmosphere in the room suddenly became a little strange. Sima Yu didn't really want to be with them. When she heard this, she felt even more uncomfortable. She stood up and said, I think we should go outside. Thank you for your kind intentions, young Master Sima. Hey, don't. You're already here. Why are you leaving? Sima Yu Qing stopped her and said. Hua Ziyin glared at Hua Zijiao, then cupped his hands towards Sima Yue and said, Little sister is used to being arrogant and willful. I hope young Master Shimin doesn't mind if she offends you. Seeing that he had already said this, Sima Yu couldn't say anything more and sat down again. Hua Ziyin, why do I feel that this name sounds so familiar? Fatty Chu said. You don't even know my brother. What a country bumpkin. Hua Zijiao looked at Fatty Chu with disdain. Hua Ziyin is the genius of the Hua clan who is as famous as Big Brother Yulin. He's one of the 4 great evildoers. Sima Yu Qing said. Right, I remember now. We've heard someone mention it before. Fatty Chu said with a sudden realization, completely ignoring Hua Zijiao's words. Sima Yu and Sima Yuze liked Huizi Jiao a lot. Now that they saw that she didn't like Sima Yu and the others, they naturally didn't like them either. Sima Yu opened his mouth and asked, "Even the Hua clan's geniuses aren't enough. Where did you all come from? How did you get to know my brothers?" His words were full of disdain, and he was sure that they came from a small place. "We came from another country," Wei Ziqi said. "We met Brother Yu Yang at the transportation array in Linchuan City. So that's how it is. I was wondering how you could possibly know someone from the Sima family." Huizi Jiao said. These few people kept saying things to annoy Sima Yu and the others. Everyone was a little angry, but on account of Sima Yu Qing and Sima Yu Yang, it was not good for them to flare up. Little Tu sat between Sima Yue and Bei Gongtang. He stretched out his hand and patted Yue's shoulder, saying, "Big brother, don't be angry. You said that the dog bit you, but you can't bite the dog back." PFFF, when they heard what Little Tu said, everyone laughed. Wasn't he calling them dogs? "Little brat, what do you mean?" Huizi Jiao slammed the table and shouted at Little Tuesday. Little Tu was not afraid of her. He glanced at her and said, "I didn't say anything about you. Why are you so angry? Could it be that big sister thinks you're like this?" "Little brat, today I represent your parents to teach you a lesson." Sima Yue was beside Sima Yuze. He went around Sima Yue and wanted to hit Little Tu, but his hand was clawed by Sima Yue. "Does my little brother need an outsider like you to teach him a lesson?" After speaking, she pulled forcefully, and Sima Yuze was pulled from his seat to the ground. "Yuze, how can you hit Little Tu?" Sima Yu Qing stood up and berated. Sima Yuze crawled up from the ground and glared fiercely at Sima Yue, saying, "You actually dare to hit me? You, a country bumpkin from who knows where, actually dared to hit me. Do you know what kind of people the Sima family is?" Sima Yue glanced at him indifferently, then said to Sima Yu Yang, "Looks like not everyone in the Sima family is like you. Let's go outside to eat. Goodbye." After speaking, without waiting for their reply, they all stood up and left. "You want to leave after hitting me?" Sima Yuze grabbed at them, but was caught by Ouyang Fei. A dash. Ouyang Fei used force, and he cried out in pain. Ouyang Fei didn't say anything, but his eyes were filled with murderous intent. He let him go and followed them out. "Enough!" Sima Yu Yang saw that Sima Yuze still wanted to go out and shouted loudly, "They're my friends. What are you doing?" "I dash." Sima Yuze held his arm unwillingly. "I'll go eat with them." Sima Yu Qing left the private room after speaking and saw Sima Yu Yang and the others downstairs. She walked down and sat beside their table. It was really a contrast just now. Yuze and the others are used to being domineering. Sima Yu Yang and the others didn't think that Sima Yu Qing would specially come down to apologize, and their displeasure towards the Sima family lessen a little. "Yu Qing, why are you with that guy?" Fatty Chu was straightforward and asked directly. "I don't like them either," Sima Yu Qing said, "but the whole family has guests, so they naturally have to receive them. Yu Yang and I were supposed to accompany them around, but those two guys like Huizi Jiao and insisted on following. You're all family. Why are your characters so different? They're from Third Uncle's branch. That branch's people are all like this. I've always quarreled with them." Sima Yu Qing complained. Sima Yue's heart suddenly jumped and asked, "I've heard of Sima Kai and Sima Ko before. Which branch are they from?" "Third Uncle and the others are Third Uncle's children," Sima Yu Qing said. "However, Third Uncle died 3 years ago when he came back. No wonder. No wonder their characters were so bad." Sima Yue and the others ordered the dishes. When she saw the menu, she finally understood why Fatty Chu wanted her to treat them. This meal cost over 1,000 gold coins. However, after they finished eating, Sima Yu Qing insisted on footing the bill, saying that it was to apologize for what happened just now. They couldn't win against her, so they let her be. "Yu, what do you want to do in the afternoon?" Sima Yu Qing asked after they left the Drunken Moon restaurant. "We want to go to the Xian Yuan Pavilion to take a look," Wei Ziqi said. "I haven't been there in a long time. Let's go together," Sima Yu Qing said. The few of them went to the Xian Yuan Pavilion, and it was already open. The shopkeeper saw Sima Yu Qing and greeted her warmly. "Young Miss Yu Qing, you're here. Did you get anything good recently? Sima Yuqing asked. Yes, we definitely have something that young Miss Yuqing likes. The shopkeeper said. Yu, do you want to come with me to take a look? Sima Yuqing asked. No, we want to walk around. Sima Yue said. That's good. If you see that I haven't come out, just wait for me. Okay. Chapter 222. That shop assistant took Sima Yuqing and left. Immediately, another shop assistant came up and asked, Is there anything you need help with? No need, we'll just look around ourselves. Okay, call us if you need anything. After saying that, the shop assistant politely retreated to the side. There are indeed more and better things here than in Peace City, Fatty Chu said with a smile as he looked at the dazzling array of items. See if there's anything you like, Sima Yue said. All right, everyone went their separate ways to find what they wanted. Not long after, Sima Yu Yang and the others came in as well. When they saw Fatty Chu and the others wandering around in front of the items, Sima Yu Zhe, Huizi Jiao, and the others' expressions turned ugly. Sima Yu Yang nodded at Wei Ziqi and the others as he brought Huizi Yin upstairs. It seemed like he had something to buy as well. Huizi Jiao and the rest didn't go up. When they saw Sima Yue and the others, they didn't want to go up. Country bumpkins, do you have the money to buy things here? Huizi Jiao walked over and looked at them with disdain as they wandered around the cheap area. What does it have to do with you, whether I have money or not? Fatty Chu sneered. Don't tell me that you, the young miss of the Hua family, are in charge of this place. I'm just reminding you. Don't choose something and then be unable to pay for it. You'll lose face for no reason. Huizi Jiao sneered, waiting to see them make a fool of themselves. At this time, Bei Gongtang waved her hand to the shop assistant, saying, Do you accept pills here? Yes. Miss, do you want to sell medicinal pills? The shop assistant asked, and this miss will reminded me just now. If I don't have money, I'll embarrass myself for nothing. Let's exchange it for some money first. Bei Gongtang said. Sima Yue and the others saw Bei Gongtang's actions and knew that this young miss was angry. They were waiting to see how she would deal with Huizi Jiao. Then let's go upstairs. Please follow me, miss, said the clerk. All right. Bei Gongtang nodded but did not leave. Don't. We haven't seen how other people sell pills. Sima Yue said. That's right. If you only have 1 or 2 pills, why would you need to make the trip? Sima Yue agreed. Bei Gong, why don't you just stay here? We're too lazy to go upstairs. Fatty Chu said. Otherwise, people will really think that you're going through so much trouble just for 1 or 2 pills. Since your own people have already said so, why are you still going up? They were certain that Bei Gongtang and the others had come from a small place and would only have a few pills on them. Therefore, they wanted them to embarrass themselves below. Bei Gongtang glanced at the 3 of them and said to the shop assistant, Since everyone wants to take a look, let's trade here. The shop assistant had no objections and said, Miss, our first grade pills are 30 gold coins each, second grade pills are 60 gold coins each, third grade pills are 100 gold coins each, and fourth grade pills are 300 gold coins each. If it's a special pill, the price will not be limited by its grade. Bei Gongtang nodded. The price was still reasonable. It was not too much of a scam. After that, the shop assistant brought her to the counter at the side, wanting her to place the pills on it. Bei Gongtang shook her head, saying, There's not enough space here. Her voice was very soft, but it caused everyone's hearts to tremble. This kind of counter was actually not enough? Didn't she only have 2 or 3 pills? The shop assistant was stunned and turned around to instruct the servant girl at the side. How could you have so many pills? Could it be that you're an alchemist? I've never heard of a country bumpkin alchemist before. Sima Yue said, What does it have to do with you whether I am or not? Do you have nothing better to do than to meddle in the affairs of the world? Bei Gongtang retorted unceremoniously. You. Sima Yue was so angry that he stomped his foot and pointed at Bei Gongtang, his eyes filled with hatred. What, did I say something wrong? Bei Gongtang laughed coldly. Whether or not I'm an alchemist has nothing to do with you. What are you chirping for? Sima Yuqing, Sima Yu Yang, and Huizi Yin came down from above and saw that the few of them were at daggers drawn. They asked, What's wrong? Nothing much. Young Miss was said that we don't have any money to spend here. Bei Gong wants to sell some pills to get some money, so that young Miss Hua won't laugh at us if we really don't have any money. Sima Yu said lightly. What, Ziyin, Sima Yu Yang, and the others were all shrewd people. When they heard Sima Yu's words, they roughly understood what had happened. It was definitely Hua Zijiao and Sima Yu Zhe who had come to provoke Sima Yu and the others. At this time, a servant girl came over and came to the counter. With a wave of her hand, a table that was 1 meter long and 2 meters wide appeared. The shop assistant who received them said, "Young miss, the table has already been prepared. Please take out your pills." Bei Gong Tang walked over, and with a wave of her hand, thousands of pill bottles appeared on the table, shocking everyone present. Sima Yu Zhe and the others had just said that she only had 1 or 2 pills. This was a ruthless slap to their faces, and it was the kind of slap that resounded loudly. The shop assistant was also stunned for a moment before saying, "Young miss, there are so many pills. We need to count them." "Okay." Bei Gong Tang did not say anything as she took out a chair and sat down. The shop assistant hurriedly waved his hand and called a few people over to count the pills. "Young miss, there are a total of 1,100 first-ranked pills, 800 second-ranked pills, 600 third-ranked pills, and 200 fourth-ranked pills." The shop assistant kept the pills on the table and reported the total number to them. When they heard this number, everyone present sucked in a breath. Even the average disciple of a clan would not have so many pills, right? Apart from an alchemist. Who else would have so many pills on them? Sima Yang looked at Bei Gong Tang speechlessly. As a direct descendant of the Sima clan, he only had 100 pills on him. However, this person alone had so many. This alchemist was really good. Why don't you sell my pills as well? They take up space in my ring. Ouyang Fei walked over, and with a wave of his hand, the table was once again filled with jade bottles. This time, everyone was stunned. Even Ouyang Fei was an alchemist. They had previously said that he was poor, but now they knew that he was definitely richer than them. Although Sima Yu Zhe and the other two were shocked by Bei Gong Tang's pills, they did not care too much. She was just an alchemist. Their clan had quite a few alchemists as well. However, they did not expect that there would be 2 alchemists at once. Furthermore, they were 4th-ranked alchemists. The most important thing was that Yu and the others looked even younger than them. In the future, what level would their alchemy skills reach? The shop assistant began to count the second batch of pills. After a long while, he finished counting. The number was a few hundred more than Bei Gong Tang's. "Aya, you're all selling things. I'll also clear out my interspatial ring." Fatty Chu stepped forward, saying, "Do you accept spirit tools here?" The shop assistant nodded, saying, "We do." "All right, then I'll exchange some money to buy things. Otherwise, I won't have enough money later." After Fatty Chu finished speaking, he came to the side of the table. With a wave of his hand, over 100 spirit tools appeared on the table. Because there was not enough space, many of them were directly placed on the ground. Chapter 223. Weapon Refiner. Someone exclaimed. The customers in the shop had long been paying attention to the situation here. Ever since Bei Gong Tang wanted to sell her pills, they had all gathered around. Encountering 2 4th-grade alchemists had already surprised them, and now there was even a blacksmith. Would such a team be poor? Obviously, that was impossible. They were selling pills and spirit tools in front of everyone. Wasn't it just to slap Sima Yu Zhe and the other two's faces? The entire hall was completely silent. Only the sound of the 2 people counting the spiritual artifacts could be heard. Little Two leaned against Bei Gong Tang and said to Wei Ziqi, "Big brother Ziqi, you don't have any pills or spirit weapons to sell." When everyone heard Little Two speak, their hearts were in their throats. After hearing his words, their hearts that had just been in suspense fell back down. If another alchemist or weapon refiner came, their team would be too scary. Little Two paused for a moment before continuing. "Why don't you ask the big brother here to find a few freshly caught holy beasts for you to tame, and you can use them to exchange for some money? Otherwise, you won't have money to pay for the things you buy later." Beast Tamer Master. The few of them understood Little Two's words and looked at Wei Ziqi in shock. Little Two once again mentioned that he had no money to pay the bill. This caused everyone to laugh. This would allow Sima Yu and the others to not appear in Anyang City for a few days. It was too embarrassing. Wei Ziqi smiled and said, "No need, I don't have anything I want to buy." His answer indirectly admitted that he was a beast tamer. Sima Yue laughed in her heart when she heard Little Two's words. She did not expect this little guy to have such a trick up his sleeve. Why hadn't she realized that he had such a black-bellied side to him before? Everyone sucked in a deep breath. 2 alchemists, 1 weapon refiner, and 1 beast tamer. This kind of lineup would be honored guests no matter where they went. Moreover, these people were so young. They looked like they were in their 20s. Were they really from the countryside? Even a first-rate power wouldn't be able to nurture so many geniuses. Sima Yu Yang and Sima Yu Qing were both shocked. They had always looked at a few of them indifferently, but they never thought that they would actually have skills. Huazi Yin also looked at them a few times, but his gaze finally landed on Sima Yu Yang, wanting to see what kind of skills she had. However, what disappointed him was that after Fatty Chu, Sima Yue did not sell any pills or spiritual weapons. She only said to the few of them, "While they're settling your accounts, go and bring all the items you've chosen. It's time to settle the accounts. Little Two, didn't you see a stone just now? Go and get it. We'll buy it and play with it as a toy." "All right." Little Two saw Sima Yue winking at him and understood. He immediately ran out, took a stone, placed it on the counter, and ran out again. "That's pure gold Oregon. I saw it just now. It's worth 10,000 gold coins." Someone cried out in surprise. Not long after, Little Two brought 2 more medicinal herbs over and said, "Sister, I brought you the things you wanted earlier." With that, he ran off again. Both of the medicinal herbs were rare treasures. 1 stalk was priced at 10,000, while 2 stalks were priced at 20,000. It's almost as good as the treasure of this shop. After that, Little Two went to carry a few more items that everyone had their eyes on. When he took down the last item, he said to the shop assistant, "Brother, there's nothing else. That's all." When everyone saw these items, they sucked in a breath. These things added up to 100,000 gold coins. The shop assistant was rather calm. After calculating, he said, "The items here add up to 100,800 gold coins. Forget about the 800. You could just give me 100,000. Do you want to split it?" "No need," Sima Yue said. "Although I'm not rich, I still have this bit of money. You should have said earlier that you wanted to give it to us. You made me worry that I didn't have enough money and had to sell pills to make up for it." Bei Gong Tang said unhappily, "You can give us the money from selling pills and spiritual weapons. Put these things on her head." "All right." The shop assistant nodded. He got someone to bring a box and put everything in. Sima Yue walked over and took out a crystal card and a blue card, handing it over to the shop assistant. Seeing the blue card in Sima Yue's hand, the shop assistant was shocked. He looked at Sima Yue with even more respect. He took the crystal card and the blue card with both hands and bowed slightly, saying, "You have our most precious blue card. You could get a 15% discount on the price just now. The total is 85,000. We'll go and settle the price now. Please wait a moment." After he finished speaking, he took the crystal card and the blue card and went in. The people in the hall were so shocked that they couldn't speak. After a long time, someone said, "I heard that Xianyuan Pavilion has 3 kinds of cards. The green card can give a 5% discount, the red card can give a 10% discount, and the blue card can give a 15% discount. However, there aren't many blue cards. It said that you can count them with 2 hands." If it was said that they didn't think much of Sima Yue before, everyone's opinion of her had changed now. Xianyuan Pavilion placed a lot of importance on blue cards. Even the first-rank clans had red cards. Only a few great masters had blue cards. However, she actually had a blue card. This meant that to Xianyuan Pavilion, she was even more important than the first-rank clans. Huazi Jiao's face was burning. She naturally understood the difference between a blue card and a red card, because a red card was lying in her ring at this moment. Thinking about how she had just said that country bumpkins had no money, their actions were like a slap to her face. Huazi Yin looked at Sima Yue. He didn't know what kind of status she had to be able to get such a precious blue card. Those who had blue cards were not only important guests of Xian Yuan Pavilion, they were also important guests of the large clans. Very quickly, the shop assistant took out a blue card and a crystal card. He handed it to Sima Yue with both hands, saying, "It's already been settled." After Sima Yue took the card, he took out 3 cards and said, "This is the money for the 3 of you to sell your pills and spirit tools." Sima Yue took it all and turned around to hand it to the 3 of them. Then, she nodded to Sima Yuyang and the others before turning around to leave. "Esteemed guests, please wait." The shop assistant called out. "Is there anything else?" Sima Yue asked. The shop assistant took out an invitation card and said, "In half a month, Xian Yuan Pavilion will be holding an auction. We would like to invite our esteemed guests to participate." In half a month, Sima Yue took the invitation card and said, "If I am still here at that time, I will come and participate." After speaking, she left with the others and did not stay any longer. Throwing away 1,000 gold is not enough to describe it. Everyone sighed as they watched their backs. Throwing away 100,000 gold at once. Apart from those large clans, only people like them can be so bold. Those alchemists and weapon refiners seem to be faintly centered around that person. I think she must be even more capable. Of course. Otherwise, how could he have gotten a blue card? What if he picked it up? Everyone finally thought of this question and turned to look at the shop assistant. The shop assistant shook his head, saying, "When we give out the blue card, it will be tainted with that person's aura. It will be easier for us to identify it. That card just now was really his. Truly too monstrous." Chapter 2:24. After Sima Yue and the others left the Xianyuan Pavilion, they looked at each other and then burst into laughter. We haven't slapped anyone's face like this before. That feeling was just too great. Fatty Chu said with a big laugh. Little Two hugged the stone that Sima Yue had bought for him. He loved it so much that he couldn't put it down. He narrowed his eyes and said, "Who asked those people to be so annoying? They kept calling us country bumpkins. It's like they're asking for a slap in the face." Wei Ziqi stretched out his hand and patted Little Two's head, saying, "I didn't think that you would have a black-bellied side to you." "What black-bellied? I'm smart." Little Two was dissatisfied. Although he didn't know what this black-bellied meant, he could tell from these 2 words that it wasn't anything good. "The Sima family treated you like this. I wonder how they will react when you call on you 10 days later." Ouyang Fei said while rubbing his chin. "It will definitely be very exciting." Fatty Chu chuckled. "Since all of you have announced your identities to the world together, I'm sure you'll attract the attention of the major powers. Have you thought about which force you want to join?" Sima Yue asked. "I'm not going." Fatty Chu immediately denied it, saying, "We're following you now. We have a better future than those powers." "That's right. Our goal isn't here, but the primordial lands. We won't stay here forever." Wei Ziqi also said, "But I might be hunted down in 10 days. Are you sure you don't want to consider it?" Sima Yue did not want the people around her to be in danger. "No need. If we're really being hunted down, we'll just treat it as training." Fatty Chu said, "All right then. Then let's set off for our destination." Sima Yue smiled and said, "Since you don't want to accept the olive branch from other forces, then don't show up for the next few days. Go back and cultivate in seclusion." When they returned to the inn they were staying at, they told the innkeeper that everyone was going into seclusion and that they would not meet anyone who came to look for them. The shopkeeper didn't understand what was going on, but he soon understood. A large group of people came to see Sima Yue and the others. "Everyone, my apologies. Those guests have said that they will be in seclusion for 10 days. During this time, they won't be seeing any guests." The shopkeeper said, "You're not meeting anyone?" Sima Yuyang asked. "Yes. They said that if you need anything, you can come and find them in 10 days. The shopkeeper continued, "Haha, Sima Yuyang, I heard that those people were originally your friends. It's a pity that they were offended by someone from your clan who didn't recognize their worth. It's too late to try and pull them into your clan now." "Ha ha ha." Sima Yuyang looked at those people and didn't say anything, but his expression wasn't too good. Hua Zian, who had come along, glanced at the room upstairs, his eyes flashing. He didn't expect that these people would actually go into seclusion as soon as they came back. They must have expected that someone would come looking for them. What do they mean by doing this? Did they want to see which forces were suitable for them? Some people who didn't know what was going on saw that so many forces were looking for them, but they were avoiding them. Could it be that they had some kind of background? You don't know this, do you? I just heard from the outside that among the 5 people, there are 2 alchemists, 1 refiner, 1 beast tamer, and 1 unknown person who has the most precious blue card of the Xianyuan Pavilion. That blue card doesn't even have a first-rate power. What? The people in the inn were stunned when they heard this. What kind of status did these people have? Could it be that they were from some kind of powerful force? Also, I heard that those people are not even 20 years old, but they have great attainments. They will definitely become great people in the future. These kind of people are called country bumpkins by others, saying that they have no money to buy things. In the end, they took a few thousand pills and hundreds of spirit tools to sell. This is a slap in the face. How can an alchemist, refiner, and beast tamer be poor? What a joke. Don't laugh, even if it's funny. Because the ones that got slapped in the face are the Sima family and the Hua family. Be careful that they don't hear you and you get slapped in the face. As Sima Yu and the others didn't really go into seclusion. They stayed upstairs to observe what was happening below. So many people came. Fatty Chu pursed his lips. Let the shopkeeper go and make a big deal. Wei Ziqi said. They didn't speak much now. They were constantly being questioned, but they were too lazy to deal with it. Everyone is guessing what kind of strong background we have. Wait until 10 days later, and we let them know that we came from Dongchun Kingdom. I wonder what kind of expression they will have. Their mouths will definitely be big enough to stuff a fist in, Little Tu said with a smile. I wonder if this will have any effect on saving your grandfather and the others? Bei Gongtang was a little worried. Sima Yu thought for a while and said, it should have a good effect. You guys come with me. A few alchemists, refiners, and beast tamers won't dare to be punished immediately. Then we'll wait for 10 days before coming out again. Let's all go into seclusion now. Ouyang Fei stood up and took the lead to leave. Everyone left Sima Yu's room. She sat cross-legged and began to use these 10 days to stabilize her cultivation. In these 10 days, Sima Yu and the others didn't take a single step downstairs. Many influential people were waiting for them downstairs, but they didn't see a single person. On the night before the 3-year deadline, Chongming came back and was injured. Sima Yu saw Chongming and said, "You're injured." "It's okay." Chongming said, "My soul is injured, so it takes a long time to recover." Sima Yu said as she took out a small bottle of soul fluid, saying, "With your strength, you should be able to take 2 drops." Although Chongming didn't know what it was, he could feel that it was extraordinary. He didn't act arrogantly and took the jade bottle and thanked her. "There's no need. I just want to have a guarantee for tomorrow's matter," Sima Yu said. Chongming took the soul fluid back to his room and took 2 drops. After that, he began to heal his injured soul. Sima Yu didn't ask him where he went or how he got injured. For someone like him to return injured, those things weren't something she could touch on right now. That night, she didn't enter into a state of cultivation. Instead, she stood by the window for the whole night, her gaze fixed on the courtyard of the Sima family. The next morning, Wei Ziqi and the others came out. After Sima Yu came out, they didn't go straight to the Sima family. Instead, they sent Little Tu to Xianyuan Pavilion. "If it's possible, please protect him for now. I will definitely repay you in the future," Sima Yu said to the manager. Xianyuan Pavilion guessed that Sima Yu was going to do something dangerous. However, they still agreed. Although they didn't know how she got the blue card, they were happy to have her owe them a favor. Someone was right. To them, a person with a blue card was more important than any other power. Sima Yu and the others left Xianyuan Pavilion and went straight to the Sima family. "Sima family, Sima Yu have come." Chapter 225. Knowing that Sima Yu and the others had come out of their seclusion, many forces came to establish a relationship with them. Sima Yu looked at these people. She wondered if they would still behave like this when they saw her and the Sima family. Where are they going? Someone saw them walking straight ahead and guessed that they had something to do. This direction seems to lead to the Sima family, someone said. Are they planning to join the Sima family? It can't be. Didn't they say that the Sima family offended them? That's why their identities were exposed. Are they going to settle the score with the Sima family? Hard to say. At this moment, in a remote courtyard of the Sima family, Sima Yuze and Sima Yu led a group of servants in. When they saw the people in the courtyard, they said, "You traitors, what are you still waiting for? Do you really think that a mere spirit master can cross the Sophia mountain range to save you?" Sima Lai opened his eyes and glanced at him before closing them again, ignoring him. Sima Yuchi saw that the few of them were indifferent and didn't look like prisoners at all. He stepped forward and kicked Sima Yuchi to the ground. "You traitors! After today, I'll see what reason that old bastard has to protect you." Sima Yuchi got up from the ground and looked at Sima Yu, saying, "If there is a tomorrow, I will definitely take your life." "Haha, I don't think you'll be able to see tomorrow's sun. Why don't I send you to hell right now to meet your parents?" "Beat him up." "Yes, young master." The manservants swarmed forward, punching and kicking Sima Yulu and the others. The latter's strength had been sealed, and they were no match for them at all. All of them were beaten black and blue. Sima family was in another hospital. Sima Lin, Sima Qing, and a few others were sitting together. Someone asked, "Big brother, I really don't understand. Why did you make this 3-year promise with a little spirit master? You wasted 3 years for nothing." "That's right. It's not like you don't know how dangerous the Sophia mountain range is. Even if that person's talent is outstanding, it's impossible for him to have the strength to cross it. Only spirit emperors can break through that barrier. I don't think she'll be able to come today." Everyone did not believe that Sima Yue would come today, as they all shook their heads, thinking that Sima Lin was only letting Sima Lai and the rest live for another 3 years in vain. "I believe she will come." Sima Qing couldn't help but recall the unyielding figure from 3 years ago. He said, "That child, she will come. If you don't come, we'll have to punish Sima Lai and the others." Sima Ke said, although his strength was not high, he was qualified to sit here because of his seniority. Sima Lin sat there calmly and did not tell them whether Sima Yue was coming or not. He picked up the teacup and took a sip. Looking at the tea leaves in the teacup, he wondered if he believed that she would come. Suddenly, he looked outside, and there was a faint smile in his eyes. "Sima family, 3 years have passed, and I, Sima Yue, have come to fulfill the appointment." With a loud shout, half of the Sima family was heard. Even the people in the secluded courtyard could hear it. Sima Yuming and the others had already been beaten to a pulp. They were all lying on the ground and did not even have the strength to get up. Sima Yuze left after getting the servants to beat them up. Hearing Sima Yue's voice, a few of them started to cry. "It really is Yu's voice," Sima Yuming said excitedly. "Fifth bro really came." Sima Yuchi looked towards the main door, saying, "Sophia mountain range is so dangerous. How did she come here? The barrier can only be broken by spirit emperors and above. She's already a spirit emperor? Will we be able to see her?" Sima Lai did not speak the entire time, only looking towards the main door. Sima Yue stood outside the main door of the Sima family and shouted loudly, giving everyone who followed her a shock. "Sima Yue? Why does this name sound a little familiar?" "I think so too. I think I've heard it somewhere before. But is there such a person in the Sima family?" 3-year appointment. I remember now, 3 years ago, the Sima family caught a group of people who had escaped from the land of exile, but did not punish them immediately. Instead, they locked them up in a courtyard. I heard that they made a 3-year appointment with a junior. That person seems to be called Sima Yue. What? Everyone was shocked. Then you're saying that she came out from the land of exile? Heavens! The land of exile is on the other side of the Sophia family. How did these people come out? I wonder what kind of appointment she made with them. We'll know when we continue watching. I initially thought that they were here to seek refuge with the Sima family, but I didn't think that they were here to fulfill the appointment. A group of people came out from the Sima family and were shocked when they saw Sima Yue and the others. When Sima Yu Yang and Sima Yu Qing heard what Sima Yu said, they were shocked at first before rushing over. After that, Sima Yu Lin and the Hui siblings who were staying here came out as well. You're Sima Yu? Sima Yu Qing looked at Sima Yu in disbelief. Her own friend was actually the one who had made the appointment with their family. Sima Yu glanced at Sima Yu Qing and did not deny it, continuing to shout, Sima Lin, I've come to fulfill the appointment. Where are you? Impudent. Is granduncle's name something you can call? Someone shouted. Sima Yu smiled, saying, if names are not meant to be called, are they meant to be eaten? If so, why don't you try one for me to see? Ha! When they heard what she said, the people around them all laughed. No matter. Since you're here, come in. Sima Lin's voice came from inside. It's better for you to come out. Do you think I'll be able to come out safely if I enter the Sima Yu family? Sima Yu said. Everyone was in an uproar. This Sima Lin has already been a spirit paragon for 2 years, but he can't even get a junior to come out. This Sima family will be like a sheep entering a tiger's den if you enter. You might not be able to come out. It's better to stay outside. It's safer. Sima Yu, a junior, actually dares to speak like this. The Sima family said unhappily, I didn't even make an appointment with you. What are you shouting for? Sima Yu said, you're looking for death. That person had lost face and was about to attack. Stop. Sima Yu Lin shouted at that person, then looked at Sima Yu, saying, what do you want? I'm here to fulfill the appointment, not to provoke. Sima Yu said, I brought the thing. I want to see my family. Thing? What thing? Aside from a few people, nobody knew what Sima Yu had that would allow her to make a deal with a first-rank power. Sima Yu took out a golden snake fruit. Its fragrance filled the air. Golden snake fruit. A voice called out, telling everyone where this fruit came from. Chapter 226. It's the Alchemist Guild's vice president. Everyone recognized the person who spoke just now and said in surprise, why is he here? A few days ago, 2 young 4th-grade alchemists appeared. Presumably, the Alchemist Guild would also be interested. Someone guessed. Sima Yu turned around and saw a skinny and capable old man standing out from the crowd, staring straight at the golden snake fruit in her hand. President Ma. When the members of the Sima family saw Ma Li, they all bowed respectfully. Ma Li ignored them and went to Sima Yu and said, can I take a look at this golden snake fruit? Sima Yu shook her head and said, Grandpa, not now. I want to use this to make a deal with the Sima family. What deal? Ma Li asked. 3 years ago, I made an agreement with Sima Lin. He would protect my grandfather and the others for 3 years, and I would find the golden snake fruit for them. Now, I have already brought the golden snake fruit as promised. I'm waiting for them to let me see my grandfather and brother. Sima Yu said, Grandpa, if you want to see it, wait until I see if my grandpa and the others are safe. Your grandfather is Sima Lai? Ma Li asked. Sima Yu nodded. Then why don't you go in? Sima Yu looked at the Sima family's door and said, I'm just a little spirit master. If I go in, I'm afraid I'll die before I see my grandfather. How dare you? Someone from the Sima family roared. Our family has always been open and above board. How dare you slander us? It's not that I'm slandering you, but you don't have enough trust in me. Sima Yu said, are you going to let me see my grandfather and the others or not? If you don't, I will destroy this golden snake fruit. As she spoke, she pinched the golden snake fruit tightly. As long as she used her strength, the golden snake fruit would be destroyed. You don't. Sima Yu Yang and Sima Yu Qing cried out at the same time, their hearts in their throats. Hey, young man, don't be so impulsive. Ma Li waved his hand and almost came up to pry her hand away. Do you know how precious this thing is? Perhaps this is the only one in the entire world. Don't be rash. Don't be rash. Sima Yu looked at Sima Yu Lin, saying, don't you have the highest position now? I want to see my grandfather and the others. They can't come out now. Sima Yu Lin said, without the clan leader's orders, they can't leave the courtyard. Then let Sima Lin say it. Sima Yu said, he promised me that he would protect my grandfather and the rest. Come in. I'll guarantee your life. Sima Qing's voice rang out. Sima Yue was still hesitating. Since we've encountered such a situation, why don't I accompany you in? I can guarantee your safety. Molly squinted his eyes and said, but you have to promise me that you'll let me take a look at this fruit. With the protection of the vice president of the Alchemist Guild, there will definitely be no danger. That's right, even if the Sima family is a first-class force, they still have to listen to Molly. Otherwise, all the alchemists in the world will cut off all contact with them. I wonder if she will go in. I think so. Sima Yue was actually not worried about her own safety. Chongming's injuries had already healed. Unless the Sima family had a few godly figures, nobody would be able to stop her if she wanted to leave. Wei Ziqi and the others had been quietly standing by her side, waiting for her to make a decision. Let's go in. Sima Yue sighed. When the time comes, I'll have to ask Grandpa to help me. Okay. As long as you let me see the golden snake fruit. Molly rubbed his hands and said, please. Sima Yulin gestured for her to enter. Sima Yue lifted her feet and walked in. She knew that they would not deal with this at the entrance. After all, this might involve things that they did not know. She was only doing this to create momentum outside. Chongming followed beside Sima Yue. When he passed by the Hua siblings, he glanced at them lightly, causing them to feel as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. What a strong feeling. Huazi Jiao said blankly after they entered. Huazi Yin felt a chill run down his spine. That gaze felt as if it could pierce through them. That person, who is it? Sima Yue followed Sima Yulin to the main hall. Sima Lin, Sima Qing, and the others were waiting inside. She glanced around. Those who were able to sit here were not weak. It seemed that they were not young either. Granduncles, Sima Yue is here. Sima Yulin bowed respectfully to the people in the house. You are Sima Yue? Are you the one who shouted for my big brother to come out? An old man glanced at Sima Yue. The pressure of a spirit saint pressed down on her. Sima Yue stood where she was and did not move at all. She said lightly, your pressure is useless against me. You should save it. After that, she looked at Sima Lin, saying, I've brought the thing. I want to see my grandpa and the others to confirm whether they're still alive. Sima Lin looked at the current Sima Yue, and his heart was filled with shock. He never thought that the little spirit master from back then would have grown to this extent. Even Sima Yulin, who was hailed as the #1 genius, had not improved so much. Bring them here. Sima Lin said, yes, clan leader. While they were waiting, Sima Lin looked at Molly, who was pacing around Sima Yue, saying, Molly, why did you run here instead of guarding your pill furnace in the Alchemy Guild? I'm here to watch a good show, Molly said without thinking. After that, he quickly denied it, saying, I heard that those perverts had come out, so I came to see what kind of people they were. I didn't think that I would run into something like this. I promised to protect him, and he promised to show me the golden snake fruit. Since this is the case, sit down and wait. Sima Lin said. No need. Molly waved his hands decisively. He wanted to stand beside Sima Yue, as if he would be able to smell the golden snake fruit this way. These must be the few little geniuses that have been spreading like wildfire recently, right? An elder from the Sima family said. Wei Ziqi and the others had yet to speak when Molly jumped up, saying, What do you want to do? They're the ones that we chose first. Don't snatch them from us. Molly, what do they have to do with you? Have they entered your alchemy guild? Why are you making such a big fuss? That elder had a fiery temper as well, and started to argue with Molly. I'm not going to argue with you today. Molly's thoughts were all on the golden snake fruit, and he did not even bother with his old rival. The courtyard that Sima Lai and the others lived in was very far from the main courtyard. Just as Sima Yue was about to lose her patience, she finally heard some movement. Quickly go in. The voice of the guard was heard, and she could not wait to turn around. However, when she saw Sima Lai and the others, her excitement immediately turned into anger, and her entire body emitted a terrifying aura. Chapter 227. Grandpa, big brother, how did you become like this? Who beat you up like this? Sima Yue ran over and looked at them angrily and sadly. Sima Lai and the other 5 all had extremely serious injuries on their bodies. Because their spirit chi had been sealed, they couldn't even heal themselves. Sima Yue couldn't even walk and needed 2 guards to support him. When Sima Lai and the others saw Sima Yue, they were extremely emotional and their eyes were wet. Yue, you're here, Sima Lai said as he caressed Sima Yue's face. Grandfather, I'm here. Sima Yue held Sima Lai's hand and said, I'm here to save you. After saying that, she turned around to look at Sima Lin and said, This is what you meant by protecting my grandfather and the others? If I came 2 days later, I'm afraid I would only see a few cold corpses. Sima Lin never thought that Sima Lai and the others would be like this. He turned his gaze to Sima Yulin and asked, Who did it? Yu Yi and Yu Zhe go to the abandoned courtyard from time to time. Sima Yulin replied, Grandpa, eat these pills first. Sima Yue took out a few pills for them to eat. Level 5 Vitality Recovery Pill. Ma Li, who was standing at the side, knew what kind of pill it was the moment he smelled it. His eyes lit up as he looked at Sima Yue. Those 2 alchemists were said to be 4th-grade alchemists. Could it be that she was a 5th-grade alchemist? Thinking about how the Xianyuan Pavilion had given her a blue card, this was not impossible. Sima Yue gave the pills to Sima Lin and the rest. Seeing that they were unable to circulate their spirit chi to heal their injuries, she grabbed their hands to check and raised her head in shock. No spiritual energy? Where is your spiritual energy? It's just that their spiritual energy has been sealed. They haven't been crippled. Sima Qing explained as he felt that Sima Yue was about to flip out. Grandfather? Sima Yue looked at Sima Lai in disbelief. Don't worry, it's just a seal. Sima Lai said, Sima Yue, we have already agreed to protect the lives of your grandfather and the others for 3 years. Shouldn't you fulfill your promise and give us the golden snake fruit? The old man who had previously exerted pressure on Sima Yue said, Release the seal. Sima Yue said. Sima Lin shook his head and said, This won't do. Why? I've already brought the things over. Sima Yue looked at Sima Lin. We still haven't investigated the truth of what happened that year. Right now, we still can't confirm whether or not they are traitors to the clan. Sima Lin said, You haven't been able to find out after so many years. How are you going to find out now? Sima Yue said, Are you saying that if you can't find out the truth in a year, you won't return my grandfather's freedom for a year? If you can't find out the truth in 100 years, you won't return their freedom for 100 years. What happened that year has already happened 100 years ago. How could it be that easy to find out the truth? Sima Lin did not bother about Sima Yue's attitude and said, Back then, 3rd grandfather had the raging inferno slash. Lai's father was not qualified to cultivate it. However, the spirit technique ended up in his hands. He said that it was given to him by 3rd grandfather. However, when we went over, we only saw 3rd grandfather's corpse. There are no witnesses? Sima Yue asked. There's one. Sima Lin said, One of our little uncles was also injured at that time. We paid a huge price to save him. However, his soul was injured. When he woke up, he was always in a daze. He was completely unable to speak of what happened that year. Your golden snake fruit was used to treat him? Sima Yue thought back to her own guess. Indeed, someone's soul was injured. That's right. With the golden snake fruit, if little uncle can wake up, we can find out the truth of what happened that year. Sima Lin said, Then you should quickly treat him and prove my grandfather's innocence. Sima Yue said, If there was a direct witness from that year, then this matter would be much easier to handle. Her soul was injured. To someone like her who possessed the spirit pagoda, it was not incurable. We will need a few days. Sima Lin said, We are still lacking an item. It will be available at the auction in a few days. What item? Earth Dragon Marrow. She knew about the Earth Dragon Marrow. It was the essence of the Earth Dragon Stone that was formed between heaven and earth. It would take a few hundred years to form a single drop. This item was indeed useful for the soul. However, it could not be compared to the spirit fluid formed by the spirit pagoda. Can you let me see that senior? Maybe I can treat him, she requested. What kind of status do you have? Do you think my little uncle is someone you can meet just because you want to? Sima knew about what happened that year. Naturally, he would not allow them to treat that old fellow. If not for the fact that that person had been in a daze all these years, they would have killed him long ago. Little brat, are you a doctor or an alchemist? Molly asked. Both. That vitality recovery pill was refined by you. Molly's eyes lit up. And Mum, Sima Yue replied. Damn, I was just guessing. It was really refined by you? Such a young fifth-tier alchemist. TSK. Are you interested in joining our alchemist guild? Let's talk about it in the future. Sima Yue said. All right. Let's talk about it after you have settled the matters here. Molly nodded. Such a young fifth-tier alchemist. Evildoer. Everyone's gaze towards Sima Yue changed. They did not expect her to be a fifth-tier alchemist. Yes, I heard that you have the blue card of the Xianyuan Pavilion. So that's how it is. Sima Lin said. However, we have looked for many doctors. They all said that the Earth Dragon Marrow is not enough. Sima Yue did not want to say that she had the spirit fluid on her. She decided to take a step back and said, we can wait a few days. However, you have to release my grandfather and the rest. At the very least, you have to release their seals. You also have to punish the person who harmed them. This, impudent, you still want to ask for so much from us. It's already not bad that we have left them alive. Don't ask for so much. Sima Yi, the elder who had used his aura to suppress her, shouted. So you're saying that you're not willing? Sima Yue said. Sima Yue and the rest are direct descendants of the four branches. Sima Qing said, I don't care whether they are direct descendants or not. Since they harmed my grandfather and the rest, they have to pay the price. Sima Yue stood beside Sima Lai and the rest. Seeing the new and old wounds on their bodies, it was obvious that they had been beaten up badly in the past 3 years. Fifth bro, that Sima Yue said that he would kill us today. Sima Yue had eaten a pill and had recovered a little. He could stand on his own. Sima Yue looked at Sima Lin, saying, I'll ask you again. Will you punish the person who harmed my grandfather and the rest? That's impossible. Sima Ku shouted. Then don't blame me. 1,000 resonance, kill him. Sima Yue said coldly. A white shadow flashed in front of everyone's eyes. Following that, a scream was heard from outside, followed by a commotion. Yue has been killed. The people outside shouted. You kill my grandson, I'll kill you. Sima could never thought that Sima Yue would kill him just like that. He slammed the table and released a Spirit Saint attack. Cat pounce. Chapter 228. After not seeing him for 3 years, Sima Ku had actually advanced to Spirit Emperor. Be careful. The Sima family members were far away from Sima Yue and could not stop him in time. Molly's strength was not as strong as Sima Yi's and could not take this move. Fifth bro, Sima Yuming and the others saw this attack and were so scared that their hearts were about to jump out. Sima Lai was standing beside Sima Yue, and his first reaction when he saw the attack was to pull Sima Yue into his embrace and turn around to face the attack. A white light flashed in from the outside and arrived in front of them. With a slap of its claws, it easily resolved the crisis. Divine Beast of the 5th level. Everyone saw 1,000 resonances level and cried out in surprise. Sima looked at 1,000 resonance. He had just broken through to Spirit Emperor. Compared to 1,000 resonance, the difference was too great. No wonder he's so fearless. It turns out that he has something to rely on. Sima Yi looked at Sima Lai and Sima Yue fiercely. But even so, it won't be able to save your life today. Don't even think about taking a step out of the Sima family after killing them. Sima Yue came out from Sima Lai's embrace and shielded him behind her. She was not afraid of Sima Yi. I just said that I wanted you to punish them, but you were the ones who were unwilling. Since that's the case, I can only do it myself. Why do you have to decide their life and death? Someone rebuked. Sima Yue snorted coldly. My grandpa and the others have more injuries than today, right? Since they dare to harm my family, they should be prepared to die. Second brother, don't talk to her anymore. She killed Yue. You have to take revenge for him. Sima Ku's eyes were bloodshot as he glared at Sima Yue. Don't worry. How can anyone casually kill the people of our 4 bloodlines? Sima Yi said, "You're just a spirit beast. We have more than one spirit paragon here." In order to support his words, the person who had just accused Sima Yue also released the pressure of a spiritual venerable. Seeing this, Sima Yu and the other brothers were anxious for Sima Yu and wanted her to leave quickly. Yue, let 1,000 resonants take you and them away. That's right. Their spiritual beasts are either spiritual emperors or spiritual venerables. You should leave first. What's the use of having so many spiritual paragons? Sima Yue was not in a hurry and said, "I have a friend who can handle it." Shameless boasting. Sima Yi berated. "Am I wrong?" Sima Yue looked at them and said, "Originally, I could have come here directly to take them away. I spent so much time just to see what kind of character you have and whether or not you're worthy of my grandfather and the others acknowledging your ancestors. But you guys are really too disappointing." Hearing her say that, even Sima Lin and Sima Qing's faces turned ugly. "I'll take my grandfather and the others away now. Let's see who can stop me." Sima Yue shot a look at Fatty Chu and the others. They all came beside Sima Yuran and the others, each supporting one of them as they walked out. "Men, take them down," Sima Yi ordered. Sima Yue and the others supported Sima Lai and the others into the courtyard. Many spirit overlords and spiritual paragons descended from the sky and surrounded the courtyard. Sima Yi and the others also flew out from the hall. Sima Ke looked at Sima Lai viciously, hating that he could not kill them immediately. Only then did Ma Li come back to his senses and run out. Seeing this scene, he shouted at Sima Yi. "Sima Yi, I said that I will ensure that this brat leaves the Sima residence safely. Are you going to shed all pretense of cordiality with me?" Sima Yue looked at Ma Li. She never thought that this old man would really protect her. If he didn't kill my descendants and didn't want to take the traitor away, I would naturally let him leave. But he killed Yu Zhe and wants to take these people away. No matter what, I have to take his life today. Sima Yue looked at Sima Yi. Hearing what he said, she laughed coldly. "Chou Ming, I want his life." Her casual words caused everyone's heart to tighten. "Ha ha ha dash." Sima Yi laughed loudly, saying, "Just based on you, you want to take my life? This is the funniest joke I've ever heard." Sima Yue ignored him and pointed at Sima Ku, saying, "And this person. She wanted to kill him 3 years ago. She never thought that in these 3 years he would not be able to kill her grandfather, so he would get his own grandson to bring people to beat them up every few days. That's all." Chou Ming asked. Sima Yue turned her head to look at Sima Yu Ming and the others, saying, "Brothers, who do you want to kill?" Sima Yuran looked at Sima Yue. Her eyes were filled with uncontrollable rage as she smiled and said, "Just these 2. As for the rest, we will take revenge ourselves." "Okay." Sima Yue nodded. She liked to take revenge herself, so she could understand Sima Yuran's feelings. "Chou Ming, I want to bring grandfather and the others back to heal. Kill them, and I'll give you a golden snake fruit." Chou Ming raised his eyebrows. How did she know that he wanted a golden snake fruit? "You still have a golden snake fruit?" When he heard what she said, Ma Li's eyes shone, saying, "Why don't I help you kill them, and you'll give me a golden snake fruit?" The Sima family was speechless at Ma Li's actions. Did he really want to fall out with the Sima family? "Ma Li, the Alchemist Guild is not under your control. You want to be enemies with the Sima family? Have you thought it through?" Sima Ku roared. At this moment, Chou Ming moved. He stood where he was and stretched out his hand. With a light tap, Sima Ku felt as if he had been imprisoned. "Break," Chou Ming said softly. His magnetic voice was intoxicating, but the words that came out of his mouth were terrifying. When he finished speaking, Sima Ku did not even have time to scream before he turned into a bloody mist. Not even a trace of him was left. Everyone was so shocked by Chou Ming's move that they took 2 steps back. He killed a spirit saint with a light tap. This was too terrifying. Even if you advance from a spirit overlord to a spirit saint, your fate will be the same. Sima Yue said. Sima Yi looked at Chou Ming and a wave of fear rose from the bottom of his heart, saying, "Who are you?" The aura of a sacred beast was emitted, and the people and beasts in the air all fell down. Sacred, sacred beast. It's really, other than Sima Yue and the rest, everyone else was suppressed by the sacred beast's aura. They all felt as if they were suffocating. Chongming stretched out his hand, and Sima Yi flew into his hand. No, don't kill me. Sima Yi was scared. Even though he was already a spirit paragon, he was still a match for many sacred beasts. Have mercy. An old voice came from the back of the mountain. This aura, its seventh grandfather. Sima Lai raised his head and looked at the back of the mountain. Lai, you're back. That voice said, Seventh grandfather, you're still alive. Sima Lai was too excited, and his body was trembling. I'm still alive. The old ancestor of the Sima family said, if not for the sacred beast's aura waking me up, I would still be in closed-door cultivation. Please, your highness, please show mercy. Everyone's gaze turned towards Sima Yue. Even Chongming looked at her. Kill, Sima Yue said coldly without hesitation. Chapter 229. Everyone was shocked. Even if Sima Lai's grandfather pleaded for leniency, she still wouldn't let Sima Yi off. Yue, Sima Qing said, wanting to remind her to think carefully. He allowed his descendants to bully my grandfather and brother to this extent, and even wanted to kill us. Leaving such a person alive will be a great disaster. Sima Yue said, and what I can't tolerate the most is bullying my family. Whoever dares to bully them should be prepared to die. No, I was wrong. I won't dare to bully you guys in the future. Sima Lin shouted out, his face filled with regret. But Sima Yue could see a ruthless look in his eyes. If he didn't die today, he would definitely find an opportunity to kill them all in the future. Although you said you were wrong, you didn't hide the killing intent in your heart. Chongming, do it, Sima Yue ordered. Chongming glanced at her and exerted force in his hand, directly taking Sima Yi's life. When the Sima family saw that she had really killed Sima Yi, they were both shocked and furious. The old ancestor of the Sima family sighed and said, you guys come over. His Excellency and the other young friends should come as well. Chongming, withdraw your pressure. Sima Yue said. Chongming withdrew his pressure. Just like when he came, he gave off an unfathomable feeling. However, everyone knew that he was a sacred beast, so no one dared to probe his depths. Without the invisible pressure, everyone was able to straighten their bodies and breathe deeply. Yulin, bring some men to clean up this place. Sima Lin instructed Sima Yulin before turning to Sima Lai. Let's go. Sima Yue saw that Sima Lai was very excited after hearing the old ancestor's voice and knew that he would definitely want to see him. She supported him and asked while walking, Grandfather, who is the one who spoke? That's my second grandpa, my grandfather's brother. He has always been very good to us. I was still young at that time, but I remember how he took care of us. Sima Lai recalled. At that time, one of us was captured. We tried our best to escape, but were ambushed. It was second grandfather who saved us and let us go. In that case, he could be considered our benefactor. Sima Yue said, second grandpa has no children and is on good terms with my grandpa. After my grandfather passed away, it was second grandpa who took care of us. If it weren't for him, our branch would have been long gone. We simply wouldn't have been able to wait for my father and uncle to grow up. Sima Lai said with a sigh. Yue, how did you get out? Little Roar helped. Sima Yue replied. Along the way, Sima Lai and the others kept asking her questions. She briefly told them what happened after they left. When they heard that the Nalan family and other forces were trying to divide the Sima family, the grandfather and the grandchildren were furious. Sima Yue comforted them and told them how to resolve the crisis. However, she didn't mention that she had become a beast tamer master. Instead, she said that she had asked Wei Ziqi to help her find the Beast Tamer Master Guild. It's been hard on you, Sima Lai said as he rubbed Sima Yue's head. Sima Yue shook her head and smiled. That is our home. To be able to protect it is what I should do. In the past, it was always grandfather and brother who protected me. The only thing I can do is to protect our home. Seeing the smile on Sima Yue's face and hearing the warmth of her home, Everyone was confused. Was the person who killed so decisively just now really her? Or was this obedient and gentle person her real? As they spoke, they arrived at the back of the mountain. Thinking about how many people of Spirit Saint level and above lived in such a large mountain range, it was obvious that they were first-rate power. Sima Lin didn't say anything along the way. He only listened to Sima Yue talk about how they had spent the past 3 years and sighed in his heart. It was no wonder that she had improved so quickly. So it was because she had been on the brink of death. He brought them to the middle of a mountain peak, and a cave appeared in the vines. He took the lead and walked in with his head lowered. The people behind him walked in one after another. After passing through a short tunnel, they arrived at a stone room. An old man sat on a prayer mat on a stone bed. Greetings to second grandfather. Sima Lai, Sima Lin, and the others bowed to that person. Sima Yue and the others bowed as well. Only Chong Ming remained standing without moving. Liar. The old man looked at Sima Lai, and his calm eyes flashed with a trace of smile. His face was filled with wrinkles. He was different from the other peak spirit paragons. He did not choose to stay young forever. Second grandfather, I'm back. Sima Lai knelt down and bowed to the elder that he had respected so much. Sima Yuming and the others saw this and knelt down as well. Sima Yue stood there without moving. Your bloodline is now only left with a few of you, the old man said. He raised his hand, and a few rays of light entered their bodies. Grandfather, Sima Yue cried out anxiously. Don't worry, this is to remove the seal on them, the old ancestor said. Sima Lin also explained, the seal on our Sima family can only be removed by us. That's why even if you take them away, you can't let them recover their cultivation. You should first refine the great medicine in your bodies, the old ancestor said. After that, he said to Sima Lin, tell me what happened. Sigh, I'm getting old. I've been meditating for so many years. Sima Lin started from 3 years ago when he went to the Dongqin Kingdom. Sima Lai and the others got used to the feeling of controlling the spiritual energy. After that, they used their spiritual energy to catalyze the recovery pill. Choming had not said a word since he came in. At this moment, he was also standing there quietly. It wasn't that the old ancestor didn't want to bother with him. It was just that the moment he came in, he acted as if he didn't exist. It wasn't good for him to pull him aside and say anything. Sima Lin explained everything once. After that, the old ancestor said, even if they were wrong, you shouldn't kill them all. After all, there's still a family. Don't. I'm only a family member of grandfather and my brothers. I'm not related to those people. If grandfather acknowledges his ancestors, then you all can be considered. Sima Yue said, however, didn't you all want to punish grandfather and the others as traitors? That's why we shouldn't be a family anymore. That year's matter is indeed confusing. If you want to reconstruct what happened then, you need to cure the youngest. The old ancestors said. I said I'll try, but they said no. Sima Yue said, I even suspected that they wanted to harm him secretly, so that he wouldn't be able to clear his name for my grandfather and the others for the rest of his life. You're mistaken. The old ancestor said, many years ago, we were searching for the golden snake fruit and earth dragon marrow. We didn't come here to make things difficult for you. Furthermore, most people wouldn't be able to harm little uncle. Sima Lin said, why? Although little uncle's mind isn't clear, his cultivation is still very high. It's just that he's mentally retarded. If someone wanted to harm him, he would definitely take that person's life. Sima Lin replied, all right then. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Since it's like this, then I'll go take a look at him. Who knows, I might be able to cure him. Chapter 230. Everyone was shocked. Even though Sima Lai and their grandfathers were pleading for mercy, she still wouldn't let Sima Yi off. Yue, Sima Qing called out, wanting to remind her to think it over carefully. He allowed his own descendant to bully my grandfather and brother to this extent, and even wanted to kill us. It will be a disaster if such a person is left alive, Sima Yue said. Moreover, what I can't tolerate the most is bullying my family. Whoever bullies them should be prepared to die. No, I was wrong. I will never dare to bully you again, Sima Lin shouted, his face full of regret. However, Sima Yue could see the ruthlessness in his eyes. If he didn't die today, he would definitely find a chance to kill them all in the future. Although you said you were wrong, you didn't hide the killing intent in your heart. Chongming, do it, Sima Yue ordered. Chongming glanced at her, exerted force in his hand, and took Sima Yi's life. When the Sima family saw that she really killed Sima Yi, they were both shocked and furious. The old ancestor of the Sima family sighed and said, "The few of you, come over here. His honor and the few young friends, come over as well." Chongming, retract your aura, Sima Yue said. Chongming retracted his aura, and just like when he came, he gave off an unfathomable feeling. However, everyone knew that he was a transcending divine beast, so no one dared to probe his depths. Without the invisible pressure, everyone could straighten their bodies and take a deep breath. Yulin, take some people and clean up this place, Sima Lin instructed Sima Yulin, and then said to Sima Lai, "Let's go." Sima Yue saw that Sima Lai was very excited after hearing the old ancestor's voice and knew that he would definitely want to see him. She supported him, and as they walked, she asked, "Grandfather, who was the one who spoke?" "That's my second grandfather, my grandfather's older brother. He has always been very good to us. I was still young back then, but I still remember how he took care of us," Sima Lai recalled. "At that time, our branch was caught, and we struggled to escape, but we were ambushed. It was second grandfather who saved us and let us go." "In that case, he can be considered our benefactor," Sima Yue said. "Second grandfather had no children, and he had a good relationship with my grandfather. After my grandfather passed away, it was always second grandfather who took care of us. If it weren't for him, our branch would have been long gone, and we wouldn't have had the chance to wait for my father and uncle to grow up." Sima Lai seemed to feel something. "Yue, what did you get out?" "With Roar's help," Sima Yue answered. Along the way, Sima Lai and the others kept asking her questions, and she briefly told them what happened after they left. When they heard that the Nayland family and other forces were trying to divide the Sima family, they were furious. Sima Yue comforted them, and then told them how to resolve the crisis, but she did not mention that she had become a beast tamer. Instead, she asked Wei Ziki to help her find the beast tamer union. "It's been hard on you." Sima Lai touched Sima Yue's head and said. Sima Yue shook her head and said with a smile, "That's our home. It's my duty to protect it. In the past, it was you and Grandpa who protected me. The only thing I could do was to keep our home alive." Seeing the smile on Sima Yue's face and hearing the warmth in her voice when she talked about home, everyone was confused. Was the person who killed so decisively just now really her? Or was this obedient and docile person her? As they spoke, they arrived at the back of the mountain. Thinking about how many people above the Spirit Emperor level lived in such a large mountain range, it was obvious that it was a first-rate force. Along the way, Sima Lin did not speak. He only listened to Sima Yue talk about how they had been living in the past 3 years. He sighed in his heart. No wonder she had improved so quickly. It turned out that she had trained on the edge of death. He led them to the mountainside of a mountain peak, and a cave appeared among the vines. He lowered his head and walked in first. The people behind him walked in one after another. After passing through a short passageway, they arrived at a stone room. An old man was sitting on a cattail hassock on a stone bed. "Greetings, second grandpa." Sima Lai, Sima Lin, and the others bowed to the old man together. Sima Yue and the others also bowed to the old man. Only Chongming stood still. "Liar." The old man looked at Sima Lai, and a hint of a smile flashed across his emotionless eyes. His face was full of wrinkles. He was different from ordinary people at the peak of the spiritual, venerable level. He did not choose to stay young forever. "Second grandpa, I'm back." Sima Lai knelt down and bowed to the old man he had respected and loved. Sima Yue and the others also knelt down. Sima Yue stood still. "You are the only ones left in your bloodline," the old man said. He raised his hand, and several rays of light entered into their bodies. Grandpa, Sima Yue shouted nervously. Don't worry. This is to remove the seal for them, the old man said. Sima Lin also explained. Only we can remove the Sima family seal. So, even if you take them away, you can't let them resume their cultivation. You should first refine the medicine in your bodies, the old man said. Then he said to Sima Lin, tell me what happened. Alas, I'm getting old. I've been meditating for several years. Sima Lin started from his trip to Dongxing country 3 years ago. Sima Lai and the rest had to get used to the feeling of controlling spirit qi again. Then they used their spirit qi to catalyze the vitality recovery pill. Chongming had not said a word since he came in. At this moment, he stood quietly. It was not that the old man did not want to talk to him. It was just that the moment he came in, he acted as if he did not exist. It was not good for him to talk to him. Sima Lin told the old man everything. When he finished, the old man said, even if they are wrong, it is not necessary to kill them all. After all, they're still a family. Don't. I'm just a family member of Grandpa and my brothers. I'm not like those people. If Grandpa returns to the family, then you guys are family. Sima Yue said, but didn't you want to deal with Grandpa and the rest as traitors? So, we're probably not a family anymore. What happened back then was indeed confusing. If we want to restore what happened back then, we need to cure the youngest, the old man said. I said I would try, but they said no, Sima Yue said. I even suspect that they want to harm him secretly, so that they can't clear my grandpa's name for the rest of their lives. You misunderstand. The old man said, we have been looking for the golden snake fruit and the earth dragon marrow for many years. We did not come here to make things difficult for you. Moreover, ordinary people can't hurt little uncle, Sima Lin said. What? Although little uncle is delirious, his cultivation is very high. It's just that he is stupid. If someone wants to harm him, he will definitely kill them. Sima Lin replied. All right. Sima Yue curled her lips. In that case, I will go and see him. Maybe I can cure him. Chapter 231. Since the first day, the light of advancement in this courtyard had been constantly flashing. It could be seen several times a day. The Sima family had never faced such a situation before. Although Sima Lai and his grandchildren were sealed and could not use spirit qi, they did not give up on absorbing it. However, when the spirit qi entered their bodies, it only accumulated and did not increase their cultivation. Now that the seal had been undone, Sima Yuming and the other 3 brothers had all increased by a few ranks, and had all entered the ranks of great spirit masters. Even Sima Lai had increased by 1 rank, and had become a 3rd-grade spirit saint. After that, they ate the 100 revolutions pill that Sima Yu gave them, cleansing their bodies and increasing their ranks by 2 ranks. Sima Yuming and Sima Yuqi even entered the ranks of spirit kings. Sima Lai, on the other hand, had advanced to become a 4th-level spirit emperor. Sima Yue was completely unaware of what was happening outside. She let Little Roar set up a barrier to separate the inside and outside of the house to prevent any accidents from happening during the treatment. She first gave Sima Jun a few needles, then kept all the spirit healing herbs that Sima Lin had given her. She only took out 2 or 3 kinds of herbs and refined their essences, refining them into pills for Sima Jun to eat. After that, she took out the golden snake fruit and cut off a small piece. After extracting the essence, she let him drink it. Sima Jun lived up to his name as a spirit venerable rank expert. He digested all the medicinal ingredients in 2 days. Normal people wouldn't be able to wake up without 10 days to half a month. On the 3rd day, Sima Yue took out 2 drops of soul fluid and dripped it into Sima Jun's mouth before removing the silver needles from his body. Sima Jun opened his eyes and glanced at Sima Yue. Without saying anything, he closed his eyes and continued to digest the huge amount of energy. Sima Yue noticed that his gaze was different from usual. She knew that he would recover after he woke up, so she got up and left. Yu, are you done? Wei Ziqi and the rest were waiting outside. Seeing her come out, they asked. Sima Yue nodded and said, He should be fine when he wakes up. Where are my grandpa and the others? They've been advancing so fast these past 2 days that they've almost gone crazy. They only stopped this morning and are now consolidating their cultivation. Fatty Chu said, That's good. They waited in the courtyard for a day and talked about the future. Yue, if your grandfather and the others want to return to the family, what about you? I'll follow Grandpa and the rest. If they stay, then I'll stay too. If they want to leave, I'll leave too. Sima Yue said, We haven't had a stable environment to cultivate in all these years. If it's possible, you can stay here. A stable environment is more suitable for cultivation. I still want to go with you. Fatty Chu said. For the past few years, he had already treated Sima Yue as his backbone. He felt that he was not mentally prepared to face a situation without her. If you stay, we could buy a house nearby. If you want to leave, we will also leave with you. Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yue nodded and said, Let's wait and see. A day passed in the blink of an eye. When the morning glow of the second day shone down, Sima Jun walked out of the house. At this moment, there was no longer any innocence on his face. His eyes were like those of a normal person. It seemed that he had really recovered. Sima Lin and the others, who had been waiting for a long time, stepped forward and bowed when they saw him. Greetings, uncle. Sima Jun's face was solemn. He swept his gaze over everyone present and asked, Where's that bastard Sima Chong? Uncle, fifth uncle has already passed away many years ago. Sima Lin said. Dead? Sima Jun stared at Sima Lin. After confirming that he was not lying to him, he asked again, Where are his descendants? Sima Kai and Sima Yi are already dead. Sima Ku is in his own house. I've already sent someone to call him. Sima Lin replied. At this moment, a guard came and said that Sima Ku, Sima Yue, and the others were no longer in the Sima family. Are you sure? Sima Lin asked. Yes, the guard said that he saw them leave and never return. Furthermore, they took their things with them. The guard replied, Do they know that I can't hide those things now that I'm awake? Sima Jun snorted coldly. Uncle, you're saying that the person who hurt you that year, it's that bastard Sima Chong. The Sima family said through gritted teeth. At that time, I went to look for my father but happened to see him poisoning my father and killing him. He even beat me until I was heavily injured. If it weren't for the fact that someone came in time, I would have been beaten to death. That matter was really done by someone else. It wasn't fourth uncle and the others. Sima Lin said. Who did you say did it? Sima Jun glared at Sima Lin. Sima Lin recounted everything that had happened. After Sima Jun heard it, he closed his eyes in pain, saying, I never thought that Sima Chong and the others would actually play the blame game. This matter has nothing to do with Lai and the others. Raging Inferno Slash was passed down from my father to his father. No wonder Sima Ku and the others kept saying that they had to immediately deal with Brother Lai and the others. It turns out that they were afraid that the matter would be exposed. Sima Qing said, Now that they see that uncle is about to recover, they ran away in fear of punishment. Pass down my orders. Immediately capture Sima Ku and the others. Sima Lin ordered. Then my grandfather and the others aren't traitors? Sima Yu's voice came from behind the crowd. Everyone finally recalled the people who had been wrongly accused for over 100 years. Sima Qing smiled as he looked at Sima Lai, saying, Of course not. In the past, we didn't know the truth. Furthermore, your great-grandfather suddenly became hungry and obtained the Raging Inferno Slash. He even left his jade pendant at the scene. That's why everyone thought so. Lai, in the future, you all should return to the clan. Sima Lin said, In the past, the clan let you all down. Now that there are only a few of you left, the clan will compensate you all in the future. You all can go and settle the remaining matters. I want to go and meet the other elders of the clan. Sima Jun looked towards the back of the mountain. Looks like other than that old ancestor, there were many other elders in the mountain. Cluck, cluck, cluck. A chicken ran out of its cage and was taking a stroll in the courtyard. Seeing so many people, it ran out in fright. Sima Jun saw the courtyard full of animals and furrowed his eyebrows, saying, Find someone to clean up these animals. Lai, you'll come with me to meet them. As for the younger generation, they will temporarily stay in my courtyard. Everyone can go and do their own things. After speaking, he brought Sima Lai out. The older generation of the clan also left, leaving only Sima Yu and the others in the courtyard. Eldest brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother. Sima Yu came beside Sima Yu Ming and the others. Because Sima Jun came out not long after they came out, the few brothers did not have time to properly talk. Yu, it's all thanks to you this time. Sima Yulu patted her head and said happily, "It's good that my brothers are fine." Sima Yu was very happy as well. She saw that the injuries on their bodies were completely healed. After this round of cleansing, they had gained quite a bit of strength. Her worries from before were completely swept away. At this time, Chongming came down from above and looked at her. Sima Yu took out a golden snake fruit, saying, "Although I shouldn't ask, do you want this because you were injured before?" Chapter 232. This golden snake fruit was not something he had snatched from the Pu Luo mountain range. Rather, it was the fruit that the golden snake fruit tree had grown in his spirit pagoda. Chongming took the golden snake fruit and said, "Yes, I'll be back in a few days." With that, he flew into the sky and left the Sima family. Sima Yuran looked at Chongming's back and said, "That direction is towards the sea, right? Fifth bro, do you know what you want to do?" Sima Yulu asked curiously. "I don't know either. He's not my contracted beast, so he didn't tell me anything about him." Sima Yue waved her hand. "The young masters are finally free today. When we've settled down, why don't we drink till we're drunk?" Fatty Chu came up and said, "Thank you for taking care of fifth brother these past few years." Sima Yu Ming and the others cupped their hands. "When grandfather returns, we will definitely have a few drinks with you." Sima Lai only came back when it was almost noon. He said to the few of them, "I have decided to return to the main family. From now on, we will live here." Sima Yue and the rest were not surprised by this decision. It was within their expectations. Although he was dissatisfied with the clan, it was better for them to stay, especially since he had to consider Sima Yu Ming and the others. With such a family, they would be able to go further in the future. Since Sima Yue wanted to stay, Wei Ziqi and the rest decided to settle down here and stay in the inn until they found a house. Sima Yue wanted them to stay with the Sima family for a while, but she gave up on the idea as she was not familiar with the family. When it was late at night, Sima Yu Qing and Sima Yu Yang came to look for Sima Yu Yu. They just happened to bump into them drinking and sat down together without any reservations. When he heard that Wei Ziqi and the others were planning to settle down in Anyang City, Sima Yu Yang patted his chest and promised that he would take care of it. He would definitely find a suitable place for them to live in. The next day, he came to look for them, saying that he had found a courtyard. He also brought the news from last night's auction, saying that the Earth Dragon Marrow was fought over by many people. The original starting price of 200,000 was raised to over 5 million. It's a good thing that we don't need it anymore. Otherwise, we would definitely have to fork out a huge sum of money. Sima Yu Yang sighed. "Found a house?" Sima Yu Yang asked. "I found it. It's my friend's house. When he heard that I wanted a house, he transferred it to me. It's not a problem." Wei Ziqi asked. "It's not a problem. 1 or 2 houses. If you don't like it, you. Okay. Big brother and the others are busy returning to the family. I have nothing to do, so let's go take a look." They first went to Xianyuan Pavilion to pick up Little Two, and then took him to see the house. The house that Sima Yuyang found was not far from the Sima clan. It was close to the Sima clan's mountain range and was not very big. However, it was not a problem for tens of hundreds of people to stay in it. The courtyard was far from the city center. It was quiet and secluded, suitable for cultivation. Was not bad. Wei Ziqi said. "I like it." Fatty Chu said, "Okay, let's do it here." Bei Gong Tang agreed. Then it's settled. Sima Yuyang said, "I'll get some maids to clean it up for you. It's been a long time since anyone lived here. There's dust everywhere. Then we'll have to trouble you." Sima Yuyu said, "We're family now. There's no need to be so courteous." Sima Yuyang put his elbow on her shoulder. "When we met in Linchuan City, I never thought that we would become a family." Once the house was settled, Wei Ziqi and the others' lives were settled as well. They had experienced many things in these 3 years. They did not have to think about going out for experience in the short term. They could cultivate properly. Everyone believed that in the future, everyone's cultivation would definitely rise rapidly. Those who wanted to recruit, you will definitely come looking for you. If you have any ideas, you can find a power to rely on. Sima Yuyang said, "We have no interest in joining those powers. What do we do if we don't want to?" Fatty Chu asked, "Why don't I go back and discuss it with my grandfather? We'll announce to the public that you've joined our Sima family. We won't give you anything, and you don't have to do anything for us." Sima Yuyang said, "This idea is not bad." Fatty Chu said, "Thank you, Brother Yuyang. Okay, then you and I will go back first. We'll come back when we're free." After that, Sima Yu and Sima Yuyang left. The others stayed behind. Not long after, a few maids came over and said that Sima Yuyang had already sent them over. They would be in charge of taking care of them in the future. Bei Gongtang and the others did not want them at first. However, considering that little two needed to eat every day and the entire house needed someone to clean, they let them stay. Sima Yuyang and the others went to look for Sima Lin when they returned to the Sima family. He told them about Wei Ziqi and the others. Sima Lin readily agreed to Sima Yuyang's request. He got people to spread the news that Wei Ziqi and the others had already joined the Sima family. Once this news was released, those powers that wanted to recruit them were stunned. They were such good seedlings, but they were all taken in by the Sima family just like that. However, when they thought about their relationship with Sima Yu, they could only sigh. They sighed that the Sima family had gotten a huge bargain this time. "Many thanks, clan leader." Sima Yu thanked him. "You don't have to thank us. Releasing this kind of news is beneficial to us as well." Sima Lin said, "This way, the other powers will not try to recruit them." Thinking about the various powers that were fighting openly and secretly, she understood. "Yu, because of your grandfather's request, you have not been written into the family tree. However, you're still a member of our clan." Sima Lin said, "Grandfather has already told me about this. It's fine as long as you treat grandfather and the others well." Sima Yu said, she did not have any opinion on whether or not she was written into the family tree. In any case, it was fine as long as she lived with Sima Lai and the others. "We have let them down in the past. The clan will compensate them in the future." Sima Lin said, "Many thanks, clan leader." Since they were going to live together in the future, she did not want to pursue what happened in the past. In any case, the people who had beaten Sima Lai and the others had already been killed. Sima Lin could also see Sima Yu's attitude and nodded satisfactorily, saying, "Since you were able to cure Uncle, your medical skills should be very good. We have something that we need your help with." "What is it?" Sima Lin glanced at Sima Yuyang, saying, "Yang, you can leave first." Sima Yuyang left obediently. Sima Lin went to a secret compartment and pressed it. A secret tunnel appeared in front of Sima Yu. Sima Yu sighed, saying, "No matter who it was, they would have died. Even you don't have a way?" Sima Lin was still a little disappointed in his heart. "It's not impossible," Sima Yu said. "It's just that the probability of success is not high." "Then there's hope?" Sima Lin was overjoyed. Sima Yu shook her head and said, "His body is completely crippled. It won't be easy for him to recover. But that's not the hardest part." "What's that?" "His spirit is almost extinguished. In order to preserve his life, his spirit has entered a deep sleep." Sima Yu said, "If his spirit is unable to awaken, then even if the injuries on his body are healed, it would be useless." "How much confidence do you have?" Sima Lin naturally knew how serious his injuries were, and knew that the chances of saving his life were not high. If not, he would not have used a secret technique to seal him here. "Less than half," Sima Yu replied honestly, "and the cost is huge. We will need many rare herbs. No matter what, we need to know who did this to our Sima family. To be able to injure our family head to this extent is not something an ordinary person can do." Sima Lin said solemnly, We will get the herbs we need. You just have to try your best to save him. All right, Sima Yue replied. After leaving the cave, Sima Yue and Sima Yue went back the way they came. When they reached home, she wrote down a list of herbs that she needed. The list was filled with names, and there were at least a few hundred to 1,000 of them. Other than those few main herbs, try your best to collect as many as you can. Sima Yue instructed. After 2 days, Sima Lin sent someone to call her over. Other than him, there was a group of elders waiting for her. Sima Yue greeted everyone. Seeing that their expressions were not good, she asked, "What's wrong? Of the few main herbs that you gave, 3 of them are missing." Sima Lin said, "None?" Sima Yue was a little surprised. She had seen them in the medicine book before. If they were not there, how could they appear in the book? "We have the rest, but we don't have the moon breath grass, sunset cloud flower, and brown honey," the great elder by the side said. Sima Yue already knew that the group of people that she saw when she went to the Sima family were the elders of the Sima family. Most of them were elders of the same generation as Sima Lin. "These 3 are rather rare," Sima Yue said, "but it shouldn't be to the extent that they don't have them, right? Have you all gone to the Xian Yuan Pavilion and the Alchemist Guild?" "We did," another elder said, but the Alchemist Guild also said that these 3 main herbs have not been seen for a long time. They don't have any in stock. Since they don't have any in stock, then go and look for them. Sima Yue said, "The first 2 herbs are born together. With them, there will be brown bees. When the time comes, we'll just have to find the hive." "We have the same plan," Sima Lin said, "so we plan to go to the ocean soon. I called you here today to draw out the main herbs. Only the people we send will know how to find them. The brown bees are easier to identify, but the other 2 herbs are similar to other herbs and are not easy to identify. If you want to go, bring me along. I can identify them directly when the time comes." Sima Yue said, "That place is too dangerous. Your sacred beast friend is not around. It's better for you to stay at home." Sima Lin did not agree. "You can just draw out the appearance of the herbs. If you don't need me, I don't want to join in the fun. But if the 2 herbs are wrong, then it won't be a healing medicine, but a fatal poison." Sima Yue said, "Since it's like this, then let her go." The great elder said, "This time I will personally lead the team. If I bring more people, I should be able to guarantee her safety." Sima Yue saw their serious expressions and asked, "Isn't that ocean just an ocean? Is it that scary?" Everyone present nodded and said, "There are more types of living things in the ocean than on land. Furthermore, they are stronger. If you are not careful, you will be eaten by the fishes." "That's scary?" Sima Yue was curious. "Of course." The great elder raised his hand. "The danger level is not lower than Sophia mountain range. It might even be higher. It is also because of this that some herbs that only grow in the ocean rarely appear on land. Now that you mention it, I really want to go and take a look." Sima Yue touched her chin and said faintly. Chapter 234. The matter of going out to sea was settled just like that. The eldest elder would personally lead the team, leading a spirit paragon, 10 spirit saints, 50 spirit overlords, as well as Sima Yue and Sima Yulan. The time of departure was set to be 3 days later because they had to wait for Sima Yulan to come out of seclusion. Sima Yue understood. This Sima Yulan was able to sense the existence of the golden snake fruit at that time, so she must have some talent in this area. Bringing her along might be of help. No wonder I haven't seen her. She must have gone into seclusion after Bei Gong and the others saw her, Sima Yue thought to herself. After that, Sima Yue went to the courtyard and told Wei Ziqi and the others that she would be leaving for a period of time. She also told them that if anything happened, they could look for Sima Yuyang. He would help them. 3 days later, Sima Yulan came out of seclusion and the Sima family was ready to go. Sima Yue noticed that there was one more person in the team. Why is he going as well? She muttered softly when she saw Sima Yulin, who had just joined. Who would have thought that Sima Yulin would just happen to walk over? When he heard what she said, he actually stopped and said, "The gathering is about to begin. I'll go with you to gain experience." After saying that, he continued walking forward. He came to the first elder's side and said something to him. This guy is really good at hiding his aura. She felt a little apprehensive when she thought about how he only noticed her when he was so close to her. Sima Yulan walked over, saying, Big brother Yulin has been training in concealing his aura since he was young. It's already ingrained in his bones. Sima Yue turned around and nodded at Sima Yulan. She didn't look any different from 3 years ago. Even her body didn't grow much. Compared to others, her growth rate was obviously slower. Thank you for the medicine you gave me 3 years ago, Sima Yue said. At that time, I merely saw that you were so seriously injured, yet so persevering. I was shocked by you, that's all. Sima Yulan's smile was very clean. 3 years had worn away some of her previous arrogance. No matter what, I still have to thank you, Sima Yue said. To tell you the truth, although I was shocked by you at that time, I didn't think that you would succeed. So when I sensed that I was about to break through, I chose to go into closed-door cultivation. Sima Yulan said, I didn't think that by the time I came out, the clan would have changed so much. But I'm still happy that you're back. 3 years ago, the two of them didn't have much conflict. Now that they were a family, those squabbles could be ignored. Fifth brother, I heard from Yang that the sea region is quite dangerous. You have to take care of yourself. Don't rush to the front if anything happens. Do you understand? Sima Yulu and the others came to send her off. They were afraid that she would rush forward, so they reminded her many times. Sima Yue agreed one by one and promised that she would not rush to the front. It was only when eldest elder said to move that she and Sima Yulan boarded a flying beast. Anyang City was in the northeast of Central Wu Country. It was not far from the coastline. Ordinary flying beasts could reach it in a few days. Anyang City and Anyang City were only one word apart, but the difference in size was like heaven and earth. This Anyang City was not even half as big as Anyang City. The population was also much smaller. Most of the people here made a living by fishing. At the pier of Anyang City, the Sima family's boat had already been prepared. It was 100 meters long and 10 meters high. It was said that it was a medium-sized boat for the Sima family. Once the group of people boarded, the boat slowly left the coast and headed towards the deep sea. This was not Sima Yoyue's first time on a boat. In her past life, she even secretly owned a small boat. She used her remuneration as an assassin to buy it with her other identity. But the feeling of sitting on a boat in her past life was different. The fish here are really big. Sima Yue leaned on the railing and sighed as she looked at the fish that were close to a meter long. These are still small. Sima Yulan stood on the deck with her and looked at the fish in the water, saying, These are all normal fish. The bodies of those sea clans are even bigger. Don't be surprised when you see a small mountain of fish. Sima Yue's eyes shone, saying, As big as a mountain? How is the meat of such a big fish? Is it delicious? 3 black lines appeared on the back of Sima Yulan's head. She looked at her rather speechlessly. Such a big sea clan would naturally be very strong. Not many people have eaten their meat before. Sima Yue touched her chin and thought that she would definitely find a chance to try it this time. The Sea Clan's spirit beasts use spiritual energy to cleanse their bodies. Needless to say, the meat is good. Sima Yulin walked over and said lightly. Sima Yue and Sima Yulan were surprised that Sima Yulin would come over to chat with them. Didn't he usually not talk about these things with them? Why did he come over now? Is it raining red? Sima Yue looked up. No. That's strange. Sima Yulin glared at Sima Yue. This guy really deserved a beating. He had been standing on the deck when Sima Yue was interested in the fish in the water. He did not plan to join in at first. However, when he saw Sima Yue's shining eyes, he unconsciously walked over and continued her sentence. Those sea clans are very strong. Even we cannot casually provoke them. He warned, even if you are interested in them, it's best not to act blindly without thinking. I'll do my best. Sima Yue nodded. It was her first time in the sea, so she naturally would not act blindly without thinking. After all, this was a place that even spirit paragons were afraid of. It was definitely dangerous. Yulin, every time I hear this name, I think of Yuling. Sima Yue muttered softly. However, Her voice was not soft enough because the two people beside her heard it. Sima Yulan could not help but cover her mouth and laugh when she saw that Sima Yulin's face was no longer calm. Sima Yue was satisfied when she saw that he was no longer calm. Right, I'm going to identify medicinal ingredients. Yulin is using this as an opportunity to gain experience. Yulan, why are you going to? Didn't you say that it's dangerous here? Because Yulan has an innate ability to sense spirit treasures. Sima Yulin said, innate ability to sense spirit treasures? Sima Yue's eyes widened as she looked Sima Yulan up and down with curiosity. It said that our ancestors had the bloodline of spirit beasts. However, no one paid much attention to it, because no one has ever seen it before. Sima Yulin replied, Yulan's spirit beast bloodline has awakened? Sima Yue asked. Sima Yulan nodded. Sima Yue wanted to say something, but suddenly felt a dangerous aura and turned to look at the sea. Sea clans are approaching. The voice of the great elder came from the highest room. Very quickly, the spirit paragons appeared on the deck. Sima Yue looked at the sea. It looked calm, but under the water, the dangerous aura was approaching. Roar dash, following a sharp cry, tens of fish appeared on the surface. Chapter 235. It's swordfish. So many swordfish. At the very least, they are saint beasts. The one at the front is a divine beast. When the people on the ship saw the school of swordfish, they began to discuss among themselves. However, they did not panic. It was obvious that this was not the first time they had encountered such a situation. Sima Yue was curious as she looked at the school of swordfish. She wondered how powerful the spiritual beasts in the water were. The front of the swordfish is very sharp. Don't let them get close to the boat, Sima Yulin ordered. When the swordfish approached the ship, they began to attack them. Pillars of water flew out from their mouths. The spirit grandmasters hurriedly channeled their spiritual energy to attack back. The pillars of water were scattered in midair and fell back into the sea. Sima Yue also joined the battle. She channeled her spiritual energy to attack the swordfish, especially the spikes that were aimed at them. Almost every attack was accurate. Many swordfish had their bones broken, and blood dyed the surface of the sea red. Those two divine beasts are approaching the ship. Someone shouted, "Oomph." The two spirit emperors snorted and flew into the air, attacking the two divine beasts. The two spirit beasts were only at level 1 or 2. Their battle prowess should be comparable to a level 3 or 4 spirit emperor. However, the two spirit emperors had already reached level 5. That was why they could fight against them. Sima Yue stood on the deck and watched their battle carefully. At first, she didn't know why the sea beasts were so much stronger than the spirit beasts on land. After that, she understood that it was because the sea water gave them some protection and weakened their attacks to a certain extent. She called Little Ping out and instructed, "Go and catch 2 swordfish for me." Oh, it would be best if they were those 2 divine beasts. "Yes, master," Little Rock responded, spreading his wings and grabbing at one of the swordfish. 4-winged rock. Seeing Little Rock, quite a few people recognized him. Divine beast. It really is a divine beast. This is young Master Yoyue's contracted beast. Isn't young Master Yoyue's contracted beast the mythical fox? She has 2 divine beasts. Even young Master Yulin only has 2 divine beasts. She actually has 2. Chirp chirp. Little Rock flew to the top of the swordfish and swooped down. His speed was extremely fast, and everyone only saw an afterimage flashing past their eyes. That divine beast swordfish was caught by him. PFFF. Little Rock's claws were as hard as steel. With a tug, the struggling swordfish was torn into 2 halves. It threw the swordfish onto the deck, and when it was about to catch another one, it found that it had already sunk to the bottom of the sea with its minions. "Master, I'm sorry. I only caught one," Little Rock said guiltily. Sima Yue waved her hand and said, "It's okay. This one is enough." Sima Yulan walked over and saw that she was beside the swordfish, saying, "You really want to eat it?" "Of course." Sima Yue nodded her head seriously, saying, Didn't Yulin just say that this sea beast is delicious? Moreover, the meat contains spiritual energy. Eating it can also replenish our strength. Then what do you plan to do? Sima Yulan asked. Sima Yue took out pots and pans, saying, take some to roast, take some to make fish soup, take some to boil. Boiled fish with pickled vegetables and steamed fish will do. Those who were with her saw how smoothly she spoke and knew that she was definitely a foodie. Especially when they saw that she had so many things to cook, they were even more certain of their guess. Sima Yulan was also shocked by Sima Yue and the others. She touched this and touched that, asking, you always have so many things to cook with you. Of course. Sima Yue quickly kept the fish, saying, after you take my grandfather and the others away, we will go to Sophia mountain range in 2 to 3 months. We will be living there for 2 years, so we naturally have to prepare everything. But spirit masters don't need to eat. Sima Yulan said, I'm used to it. I feel like I'm missing something if I don't eat for a day. Sima Yue shrugged. Sima Yulin looked at those pots and pans and realized that they were not ordinary household items. He asked, are these all spirit tools? That's right, they were all made by Fatty. Sima Yue said, at that time, the guy just started learning how to refine tools and was looking for something to practice with, so I got him to refine these for me. But I have to say, the food made by these spirit tools is much better than the ones made by normal tools. Everyone was speechless when they heard what she said. Using spirit tools to cook was probably something that only she could think of, and the only armament master who was willing to refine pots and pans was probably someone like Fatty, who asked him to like eating. In the spirit pagoda, Little Roar insisted on coming out because he knew that Sima Yue was cooking outside. Yu had not cooked for everyone for a long time. Seeing Little Roar, Sima Yulan thought of the time in Dongchen Kingdom when he roared a few times and killed the 6-toed devil mouse. She was still a little afraid. However, she was not afraid very quickly because she realized that Little Roar was someone who did not know how to behave properly. Yu, hurry up, I'm starving to death. He lay on Sima Yue's shoulder and stared straight at the swordfish in her hand. Puff dash, Sima Yulan looked at Little Roar in amusement. At his level, he would not feel hungry at all. He actually said that he was starving to death. How funny. Sima Yulin looked at Little Roar and realized that he could not see his original form. He only felt that he was very strong, but also did not seem to have any attack power. Yu, what kind of contracted beast is this? If he did not understand, he would ask. He had always adhered to this principle. Little Roar. Sima Yue glanced at Little Roar, who was about to drool, and said, it's just a lazy worm beast that only knows how to eat and not cook. She did not trust him wholeheartedly, so she naturally would not tell him about Little Roar's original form. Even if Sima Yulan had seen it before, she did not know what it was. Very quickly, she finished preparing the swordfish. A portion was used to make fish soup, a portion was steamed, a portion was braised, and a portion was roasted. Very quickly, a table full of delicacies was served. She called Sima Yulan and Sima Yue over to eat. She did not care about those guards. She did not have the energy to cook for tens of people. Furthermore, those people had all returned to their own houses after the boat had sailed normally. It tastes so good. She drank a mouthful of fish soup and realized that the taste of this sea beast was really delicious. She could not help but close her eyes and enjoy it. Sima Yulin also took a bite. His movements were very elegant, as if eating was a very noble thing. It was a huge contrast to Sima Yue, who was wolfing down the food. Delicious. Although he did not have any requirements for food, he was still attracted by the delicious food in his mouth. You're so particular when eating. I really want to see what you look like when you go berserk. Sima Yue could not help but complain softly when she saw how noble he looked. Sima Yulan, on the other hand, did not have such good table manners. Together with Sima Yue and Little Roar, they swept the food clean. However, in the end, Sima Yue realized that although Sima Yulin looked like he was eating very elegantly, his speed was not slow at all. In the end, the amount of shark fins he had was not less than theirs. Chapter 236. In the later part of the journey, they met a few more sea beasts. As they went deeper into the ocean, the sea beasts were of higher ranks. When they were about to reach their destination, another elder took action. The one who gained the most was still Sima Yue. Most people would kill the sea beasts at most and watch their bodies sink to the bottom of the sea. She, on the other hand, would get Little Rock to catch many sea beasts for her to eat in the future. Of course, Sima Yulin and the others ate many delicacies as well. We'll reach in half a day, Sima Yulan said to Sima Yue while eating barbecued meat. Sima Yue was happy. They had already traveled for half a month. Every day, they looked at the vast ocean. It was boundless. After a long time, the novelty had faded. Which island are we going to? Forgotten Worry Island. Sima Yulan said, That's the biggest island that we can reach. There are many precious herbs on it, but it's also very dangerous. There are many divine beasts. Are there moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower? Sima Yue asked. This was the most important thing. They didn't want to waste their time. Sima Yulan nodded, saying, The people from the Xian Yuan Pavilion said that someone once picked the moon breath grass for Forgotten Worry Island. That's good. Half a day later, they reached their destination and came to Forgotten Worry Island. Sima Yue stood on the island with her mouth agape. She said blankly, This island can be considered a small continent. Eldest Elder stood beside her, saying, This island is not big compared to the entire ocean. There are even bigger islands inside. How big is this ocean? Sima Yue sighed. Nobody knows. Eldest Elder said, No one has ever walked the entire ocean. It's not just because it's dangerous. It's because there's not enough time. Sima Yi was stunned. There wasn't enough time. How big a sea was this? It's so big. It's easier said than done to find the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower. A guard sighed. Sima Yue was also thinking about the same thing. Don't worry. We found the person who obtained the moon breath grass. He drew a rough map for us, roughly marking the place where he picked the moon breath grass. The great elder said, Furthermore, Yulan has also smelled the box that contained the moon breath grass. If she encounters it, she will definitely be able to find its location. Cough, cough. When Sima Yue heard the great elder's words, she suddenly thought of something that she should not have thought of. She wanted to laugh, but was too embarrassed to do so. She could only hold it in. Sima Yulan slapped her and glared at her angrily, looking angry. I didn't say anything, did I? Sima Yue could not help but laugh. You're still laughing. Sima Yulan immediately pounced on Sima Yu, and the latter immediately ran away. Sima Yulin watched them play around and suddenly said, There's someone here. Sima Yue and Sima Yulan stopped. Everyone looked at Sima Yulin and asked, There's someone here? Sima Yulin walked towards a large rock. Sima Yue and Sima Yulan went over as well. They saw that behind the rock, there was a pile of firewood and a few pieces of clothing. The bloodstains on it were from 2 to 3 days ago. There really is someone here. I wonder who it is. Sima Yulan said, Looks like it's just one person. I wonder who is so daring to live on this island alone. Sima Yulin said, Who knows, we might even meet him. Sima Yue said, Who knows? Sima Yulan said, When the time comes, I definitely want to see who dares to live here alone. Let's go. The great elder has made arrangements. Sima Yue and the others went back and told the great elder what they saw. The great elder was silent for a moment before saying, Maybe there's someone trapped on this island. If we meet him, let's see if he needs to leave with us. Yes, it's still early today. Let's walk inside. The great elder said, leaving behind 10 guards to guard the boat. The rest of the people went to the island. At first, it was very peaceful. Perhaps it was because they were still outside the island and did not meet many amphibious sea beasts. However, everyone did not let down their guard. Let's set up camp here for tonight, the great elder said. This was a hollow in the mountains, and the terrain was rather spacious. It was enough for them to set up camp. The guards set up the tents. Even Sima Yulin and Sima Yulan did it themselves. They did not have the arrogance of the other young masters. Night fell very quickly. A group of people sat in front of the fire and chatted to pass the time. A wood dash, a wolf's howl came from afar. Everyone stood up in shock. There's actually a wolf here? A guard asked. It's not a wolf. It's a human's voice. Sima Yue said. It really is a human's voice. The guard heard it and realized that the wolf's howl was not professional. It sounded more like a human's howl. Should we go and take a look? Someone said. Young Master Yulin, take a few people with you to take a look. The great elder said. Okay. Sima Yulin nodded. He called a few people and left. Sima Yue was in the crowd. She looked at Sima Yulin unhappily, saying, I'm so weak. Why did you call me along? Sima Yulin turned around and looked at her, saying, I will protect you. Sima Yue was stunned. This guy actually said that he would protect her? It seemed that apart from her grandfather, a few brothers and Wei Ziqi, no one else had said that they would protect her. Seeing Sima Yue's stunned expression, Sima Yulin merely turned around and smiled. He realized that he could not use force on this guy. The more he wanted to suppress him, the more he would resist. If he wanted to get along well, he could only use this method. However, looking at his reaction, it was really effective. When they came to the mountain, they saw that in another hollow in the mountain, a human figure was being chased by a group of amphibious sea beasts. He was running crazily towards this mountain. Why doesn't he fly up and shake off those spirit beasts? Sima Yue did not understand. This island has a restriction. We can't fly. Sima Yulin replied. Seeing the human figure getting closer, he cried out in shock. It's him. Sima Yue looked at the human figure who was already injured and said, You know him? Sima Yulin nodded. It was obvious that he did not have a good impression of this person. When the other party saw that there were people on the mountain, he changed his direction and ran towards them. When he saw Sima Yulin clearly, he laughed loudly. The heavens are helping me. Brother Yulin, save me. Sima Yue looked at the person who could still laugh in this situation. Her first impression was that this guy was a little careless and unreliable. Although Sima Yulin did not like this person, he still said to the guards beside him, You guys go and deal with those spirit beasts. The guards rushed down and fought with the spirit beasts. That person happily escaped from the pursuit. Who is he? Sima Yue asked again. Xianyuan Pavilion's young master, Junlin. Sima Yulin replied. Chapter 237. The young master of the Xianyuan Pavilion? Why is he here alone? Sima Yue asked as she looked at the person who was running away. This guy runs around all day. Even the people from the Xianyuan Pavilion don't know where he is. He hasn't appeared for a long time. I didn't think that he would actually be here. Sima Yulin said. Junlin howled as he ran towards Sima Yulin. He only stopped when he was in front of them and wrapped his arms around his neck, saying, Brother Yulin, we actually ran into you here. We're really fated. You must have come by boat. Take me with you when you go back. I've already stayed in this godforsaken place for half a year. If I don't go back, I'll become a barbarian. PFFF, Sima Yue looked at the overly enthusiastic Junlin, then looked at the unsettled Sima Yulin and laughed. Junlin looked at Sima Yue and realized that she was not from the Sima family. He asked, Brother, are you from the Sima family? I've never seen him before. I just returned to the Sima family, Sima Yue replied. So that's how it is. No wonder I've never seen you before. Why are you with this black fox? Be careful not to be led astray by him. Junlin said. Sima Yue now knew why Sima Yulin did not like him. No one would be happy to be called a black-hearted fox. Little brother, what's your name? What are you guys doing here? Junlin walked over to Sima Yue and put his arm around her shoulders as if they were close friends. Sima Yue slapped his hand away and said, My name is Sima Yue. Aren't you the young master of the Xianyuan Pavilion? Why are you here alone? The smile on Junlin's face fell when he was asked this question. I made a bet with them and lost. The bet was that I would live here alone for 3 months. In the end, my ship was knocked over by a sea beast, and I didn't have any flying spirit beasts, so I could only wait here to see if there was anyone passing by who would let me hitch a ride. It's been 3 months, and I've finally seen him. You've been living here alone for half a year? Sima Yue looked at him in surprise. Didn't they say it was dangerous here? He lived alone for half a year. Just how strong was he? Sima Yulin seemed to know what she was thinking and said, It's not that he's strong. It's that he's good at escaping. First-class escaping skills? Sima Yue looked at Lord Descendant. Just now, she had seen him run really fast. I don't know how many powers he has harmed. He was chased down before, but he wasn't caught. Sima Yulin said. Really? Sima Yue asked. Junlin was not ashamed, but rather proud. He patted his chest and said proudly, That's right. Back then, they sent a few spirit paragons and a bunch of spirit emperors to chase after me. But I managed to shake them off. So powerful. Of course. Junlin hugged Sima Yue's shoulder again, saying, If you follow me in the future, I guarantee that you'll have that kind of speed. Even the young pavilion master of the Xian Yuan Pavilion wanted to chase and beat him up. What exactly did you do to him? Sima Yu said, If I follow you, I'm afraid that I'll have to run for my life in 2 days. Sima Yulin saw that Sima Yue was interested in Junlin at first, and was worried that she would be tricked by him. Hearing what she said, he finally relaxed. Seeing that the guards had already taken care of the sea beasts, he said, Let's go back. The Great Elder is still waiting for us. Okay, the Great Elder is here as well? Haha, then we're safe. I also want to follow you. Junlin very consciously followed them back. When they returned, the Great Elder was surprised to see Junlin. After hearing what happened to him, he said, Then you can follow us first. When we return, we'll bring you along. Many thanks to the Great Elder. Junlin beamed as he bowed. Sima Yue came beside Sima Yulan and asked, I feel like Yulin doesn't like this young pavilion master. Do you know why? Sima Yulan covered her mouth and laughed. She went beside Sima Yue's ear and said, The first time they met, Junlin was drunk and thought that big brother Yulin was a girl and took liberties with him. Puff, dash. Sima Yue was drinking fruit wine when she heard what Sima Yue said. She spat out all the wine. You're saying that Yulin was taken liberties with by Junlin? She stared at Sima Yulan with wide eyes. That's right. Sima Yulan nodded and beamed. You don't know, but big brother Yulin's face immediately darkened, and he gave Junlin a good beating. From then on, he didn't look happy when he saw him. Sima Yue touched her chin. She could imagine the scene at that time. A man who usually looked so noble and elegant was actually taken liberties with as a girl. It was a pity that she didn't see it with her own eyes. Right, do you know what kind of background the Xian Yuan Pavilion has? Sima Yue said, I think it's even more powerful than those first-rank powers. Of course, Sima Yulan didn't hold anything back from Sima Yue and told her everything she knew. I heard that the Xian Yuan Pavilion doesn't have a power from the Yilin continent behind them. That's why even the royal family is afraid of them. For a family like ours, we naturally know a little. So that's the case. Sima Yue nodded. Don't you have the Xian Yuan Pavilion's blue card? Don't tell me you don't know what kind of organization it is. Sima Yulan asked. Sima Yue smiled, saying, At that time, I had just left the Dongqin Kingdom and didn't know much about the powers there. How would I know what kind of organization it was? I just thought it was a chain store. Later on, I heard from others that first-rank powers only had red cards. That's when I realized that they were different. How did you get her blue card? Sima Yulan asked curiously. I just took some pills for them to auction and sold a pill recipe to them. They just gave it to me. Sima Yue said. Just like that? Sima Yulan looked at her in disbelief. She got the Xian Yuan Pavilion's blue card so easily? Those pills of yours shouldn't be simple. Junlin heard Sima Yulan's exclamation and came over, saying, Most people definitely can't get our card just by selling a pill recipe. It's all right. Sima Yue didn't say what kind of pill it was, but she felt like she couldn't hide it from Junlin. He would know once he went back and asked. Rest well tonight. Tomorrow, we will go deep into the island to look for the moon breath grass. Eldest Elder returned to his tent after speaking. I'm going to rest. Good night. Sima Yue got up and left as well. Sima Yulin arranged for someone to keep watch and returned to his tent as well. Junlin touched his chin and his eyes flashed. He bought a pill recipe and got a blue card. I really want to know what he sold it for. However, I'll find out when I go back. This guy isn't simple. Chapter 238. Early the next morning, the group of people packed up. The great elder divided the people into 3 groups and told them to search separately. Before she left, Sima Yue drew the moon breathgrass and sunset Sirius flower. She also told them about the characteristics of the brown bees and told them to send someone to report if they found any traces of them. The 3 teams went their separate ways. Sima Yu, Sima Yulan, and Sima Yulin naturally followed the eldest elder. Jun Lin joined them as well, and there were 4 or 5 other guards following them. They had not gone far when they heard rustling sounds. There's movement. The great elder stopped and looked ahead. Young master, can you handle it alone? Sima Yulin closed his eyes and sensed for a moment before nodding, saying yes. As a result, the others stood where they were without moving. Sima Yulin went forward alone, condensing his spirit energy and sending it forward. A white light flashed in the grass that was as tall as a person. Giant green alligators. The guard exclaimed when he saw the spirit beasts. There are so many of them. Sima Yue glanced at the crocodiles. Their levels were not very high. Although there were many of them, they were not too dangerous. Sima Yulin single-handedly dealt with 10 over crocodiles. His silhouette darted through the group of crocodiles, his speed extremely fast. The sword in his hand was incomparably sharp, reaping the lives of the crocodiles. Good luck, young master. The guard cried out excitedly when he saw Sima Yulin's battle prowess. It was Sima Yu's first time seeing Sima Yulin in action. His attacks were quick and accurate. Not a single move missed. It was 100% accurate. With such a strong combat power, it seems that he pays a lot of attention to actual combat and is not as spoiled as the other young masters and young ladies. Very quickly, Sima Yulin finished off all the crocodiles without suffering a single injury. Not bad. The great elder nodded approvingly. With your current strength, it won't be a problem for you to meet the younger generation of the other families. Yulin walked over and put away the sword in his hand, saying, I don't think so. I'm getting stronger and they're improving as well. Especially Naelanjia. He always gives me a mysterious feeling. Naelanjia has indeed obtained a lot of opportunities, and the people outside have not known about his current strength for a long time. What is his current level? The various clans are all curious. The great elder said, I feel that in this gathering, he will be my greatest enemy. Yulin said with certainty, that's why I have to continue moving forward so that I won't be left behind by him. What event? Sima Yue asked. Jun Lin looked at Sima Yue and said, You don't know about the gathering. Sima Yue shook her head and said, I've just arrived here, and I've never heard of any grand event. What kind of event is that? It's a competition between the various major forces. The position of the force will be determined based on the results of the competition. Yulan explained, if a first-rate force is defeated, then it may become a second-rate force. Moreover, the lower-tier forces can challenge the higher-tier forces. If they win, they can also raise their status. I understand. It's called a gathering, but it's actually a ranking competition between the major forces. Sima Yue said, that Naelanjia does seem to have a bit of strength. That's for sure. A year ago, it was rumored that he was already a 4th-ranked spirit elder. Now that a year has passed, his strength must have grown even faster. Jun Lin said, if we wait another 2 years, he might even reach the spirit emperor rank. Big Brother Yulin is very powerful too. Sima Yulan said, I believe that Big Brother Yulin will definitely defeat that Naelanjia. That beautiful brother of yours is indeed powerful. Jun Lin said, just now, he didn't show his rank, and it looked like he didn't use all his strength. I actually couldn't tell his rank. How strange. Sima Yue looked at him strangely, but didn't say anything. They kept the alligator's corpse and continued to walk deeper. The 3 teams searched for an entire day, but they didn't find the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower. However, they weren't discouraged. How could these things be found so easily? At night, Sima Yue cultivated her soul art alone at the top of the mountain, while the rest of the team rested at the bottom of the mountain. Suddenly, she opened her eyes, saying, Big Brother Yulin, why are you hiding behind the tree? Sima Yulin came out from behind the tree, saying, I saw you come out alone, so I was afraid that you might be in danger. Senior Elder and the others are just below. There won't be any danger. Sima Yue turned around and said. Sima Yulin walked over and looked at the moon in the sky, saying, Your senses are very strong. You actually knew where I was. SOSO. Sima Yue said, You're very good at hiding your aura. If you didn't meet me, most people wouldn't be able to find you. Are you praising me or praising yourself? Sima Yulin sat beside her and said with a smile. Both. Sima Yue looked at him from the side and said, This guy is really good looking. No wonder Junlin took him for a girl and teased him. Admiring the moon with a handsome guy, it would be a pity if there was no wine. She took out 2 jugs of wine and handed one to Sima Yulin. The 2 of them clinked their jugs and drank a mouthful. Do you know, I've always been curious about you. Sima Yulin held the jug of wine and looked at Sima Yue. Curious about me? Sima Yue was puzzled. I've known about you since 3 years ago. Sima Yulin said, When Yulan came back, she told me about what happened that day. She said that she was shocked by you. Your strong desire to protect your family made her unable to calm down for a long time. I heard her say that you came with your grandfather and the others that day and fought with my grandfather. At that time, I felt that if it was your family, they would definitely be very happy. Sima Yue did not reply and only listened to him quietly. Actually, the golden snake fruit was in your hands at that time, right? Sima Yulin looked like he was asking her, but his tone was very certain. Why do you think so? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. At that time, you said that you would find the golden snake fruit earlier within 3 years. Unless it was with you, how could you be so confident that you would find it? Sima Yulin explained. Sima Yue smiled and did not deny it. At the same time, she was shocked at his intelligence. You want to protect your grandfather and the others, but I also want to protect the Sima family. After a long while, Sima Yulin continued. If we fail this time, it won't be as simple as falling from a first-rate power to a second-rate power. We may be killed by the other powers. I don't know about the things between you big powers. Sima Yue said, I'm not interested in these things. Even if you tell me, I won't understand the twists and turns. Sima Yulin laughed, saying, I can tell that you're not interested in these things. Then why are you telling me this? Sima Yue did not understand. Sima Yulin looked at her and said seriously, I want to ask you to help me. Chapter 239. When she heard what Sima Yulin said, Sima Yue was stunned. She smiled and said, You're so powerful, and you have the Sima family as your backing. How could I help you? Sima Yulin shook his head, saying, My intuition tells me that you can help me. Are you sure? Sima Yue asked. My intuition has always been accurate. It has saved me many times. Sima Yulin said, How do you want me to help you? Sima Yue asked, I know that you're good at controlling your aura, and you're even better than me. I want you to teach me. Sima Yulin directly expressed his thoughts. Just this? Sima Yue looked at Sima Yulin. He had come to look for her just for this. She had thought that he had penetrated her other secrets. This is it. Sima Yulin said, If my chi concealment technique can be improved, my battle prowess will increase by a notch. Are you willing to guide me? I can't say that I'm giving you pointers, but I can tell you about my method. Sima Yue said, Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I don't know if it will work. That night, the 2 of them stayed at the top of the mountain, discussing the method of restraining chi under the moonlight. As the 2 of them conversed, Sima Yue realized that her main method was to restrain her aura, which was to merge her body with her surroundings. Sima Yulin's main method was to restrain his aura, which was to restrain his aura into his body. The 2 of them were completely different. Even if this was the case, Sima Yulin still managed to find a suitable method for himself from Sima Yu's method, and perfected his own method of concealing aura. As the sun rose from the east, Sima Yue quietly watched the sun rise from the mountaintop. She felt the warmth on her body and experienced the feeling of the earth recovering. Gradually, she became one with nature. Sima Yulin was immersed in his own cultivation when he suddenly realized that he could no longer sense Sima Yu's aura. He was so shocked that he turned his head around. Seeing that she was standing right beside him, he heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, he was also shocked and thought to himself, "She's clearly right beside me, but I can't sense her presence at all. Her chi concealment technique is indeed more powerful than mine." He felt that Yue had become one with the heaven and earth. He spread out his aura endlessly, as if he was sensing something. Therefore, he did not disturb her. Instead, he began to think of his own method. She blends her aura into the environment, so I'll retract my aura into my body and turn myself into dust in the air. He closed his eyes, and slowly his aura disappeared, as if he had become a speck of dust in the air. At this moment, his aura was clearly weaker than before. If he appeared in front of others like this, they would definitely be able to kill him. The Sima family did not disturb them. Instead, they searched for the moon breath grass with a mountain as the center. When it was close to noon, Sima Yue finally woke up from her meditation. She was just about to speak to Sima Yulin when she realized that he was not by her side. Boom! Not far away, Sima Yulin was currently battling with a python. This python had already reached the rank of a divine beast, and its battle prowess was equivalent to a beginner spirit saint. She saw that the bushes near where she had been sitting had all been flattened. It was likely that the python had approached them before, and Sima Yulin did not want it to interrupt her meditation, so he led the python away. Sima Yulin was not the python's opponent, but he did not call out his own spirit beasts. Instead, he continued to challenge his own limits. Sima Yue stood at the top of the mountain, but did not go up to help. She knew that he did not need her help. After a bitter battle, Sima Yulin finally killed the python. However, he had also suffered heavy injuries. He could not even stand and had to stab his sword into the ground to support his body. Sima Yue walked over and took out an antidote pill, handing it to him. "Your medicine is useless against the python's poison." Sima Yulin took the pill and ate it. After that, he sat down and began to meditate. Sima Yue walked over and dealt with the python. After cleaning it up, she took out a pot to cook snake soup. Sima Yulin waited for the poison in his body to be completely cleansed before opening his eyes, to see Sima Yue stirring the soup in the pot with a spoon to prevent it from sticking. "You really can eat anything." He walked over and saw that Sima Yue had already set up a table and chairs. "These spirit beasts are all good stuff," Sima Yue said. Then, she glanced at Sima Yulin, saying, "You're pretty strong. You defeated a first-ranked spirit beast on your own. However, you also wasted a lot of energy and complicated the battle. In the end, you got yourself poisoned and injured." Sima Yulin's body trembled as he looked at her, asking, "How did I complicate it?" Sima Yue did not hold back and said as she cooked the soup, "You and the python were in a battle of life and death. It was not a friendly competition, so there was nothing to worry about. That's why your best method was not to kill it with your own strength, but to find the best way to kill it. I also attacked where it was fatal," Sima Yulin said. Sima Yue shook her head, saying, "Although you also attacked at 7 inches, it was obvious that its 7 inches had become bigger, so that place also became bigger. You went in the right direction, but you didn't find the right spot." Spot. Sima Yulin looked at Sima Yue thoughtfully and suddenly understood, saying, "What you mean is that I have to find the right spot and not find the right direction to attack, right?" Sima Yue did not refute and continued, "Also, when you're not strong enough, it's not wise to stand in front of it. When you were fighting with the python, if you could run behind it in advance, you wouldn't have been poisoned by its poison. When you're not strong enough, the best way is to attack from behind. Sneak attacks are better." When Sima Yulin heard Sima Yue's analysis, he immediately understood where his weakness was in the battle just now. A powerful battle was not only about strength, but also the method. Sima Yue did not say anything else. She knew that Sima Yulin was a smart person and would understand what she meant. She finished cooking the soup and scooped out 2 bowls. The rest was shared by Little Roar. "Eat," She placed the snake soup in front of him while he was still thinking. They had not finished the snake soup when a signal flare exploded in the sky. "There's danger over there." Sima Yulin recognized it as a signal for help and stood up immediately. Sima Yue kept the things away and called Little Rock out, saying, "Bring us over." This island had a restriction and could not be controlled to fly. However, flying beasts could fly with their wings. Little Rock raised his head to the sky and cried out, bringing the two of them to fly in the direction of the signal flare. On the way, they saw the eldest elder and the others. Sima Yue got Little Rock to pick them up, and they continued to fly. From afar, they heard the roars of spirit beasts. There were many of them. It was obvious that the Sima family had encountered more than one or two types of spirit beasts. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.